It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacey Higginbotham's here. Aunt Pruitt. Jeff Jarvis. What the heck happened to Netflix? We'll talk about that. What do you do if you use Insteon? It looks like it's gone for good. And the company that makes vodka out of thin air. All that and a lot more coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 660, recorded Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. Welcome to Poundtown. This episode of This Week in Google is brought to you by Policy Genius. If someone relies on your financial support, whether it's a child, aging parent, even a business partner, you need life insurance. Head to policygenius.com/twig to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. And by Buck Mason. Buck Mason's clothes are second to none. Once you try Buck Mason, they'll become your go-tos too. Head over to buckmason.com/twig and get a free t-shirt with your first order. And by Blue Land. Stop wasting water and throwing out more plastic. Get Blue Land's revolutionary refill cleaning system instead. Right now, you can get 20% off your first order when you go to blueland.com/twig. It's time for Twig, the show where we cover everything but Google. The Googleverse, the Twitterverse, the Metaverse, and all the verses with Stacey Higginbotham from Stacey on IoT.com at GigaStacey. Keeping up with the Higginbotham fame. And look at that lovely cup of tea. You know, it's interesting because I'm sitting right next to a guy who's got a lovely cup of Joe. Look at this.
This is coffee.
Aunt Pruitt. Look at that. Same cup. Only his is a lot larger.
Oh, she did find my glasses. Oh, my glasses fell off.
I have 2 cups.
Sorry.
Oh.
Which one's Aunt
Burke,
size?
can you get me the cup that Russell was using? Because I mean, if you're all going to have white cups, I want my own. Also with us, Jeff Jarvis, professor.
I have no cup.
You have no cup. Professor, there you go. He's got Starbucks.
There
The
we
Leonard
go.
Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Okay, Aunt, your cup next to my cup. Something wrong with this picture.
Oh, no.
It's Goldilocks.
It's my little,
This cup's too
little
small.
tiny
The size
cup.
of each of your arms.
The
respectively.
comparison for a lot of different things, sir.
One of these
love
things
our
is not
Breville.
like the other. Wow.
My Breville coffee. Oh, gosh, it's
Cheers.
so good. Cheers to me.
I think if you have a cup like this, you have to go.
Somebody needs some infrared.
I don't know what that means, and I'm not going to ask. All right.
Tucker Carlson reference.
Oh, you're talking about the new All the Rage.
Oh, no, we're not going there. It's too early.
You know what? The only thing, I'm not going to say anything, but the only thing that was funny about that whole thing is that it was a bridge too far. Even for Kid Rock, that was a bridge too far. I'm just saying. Bad day, no good, terrible day for Netflix yesterday. They had to announce for the first time ever a loss of subscribers. Not a huge number, 100,000 subscribers, but it sure killed the stock.
You sure that was 100,000?
Sorry, 200,000. All right, well, that's still pittance compared to whatever millions they have, right?
Yeah.
Well, Wall Street's saying they may lose up to 2 million by July. I don't know where that number came from, but that's apparently part of the reason behind the freak out.
It's kind of
That and the fact that it's for the first time ever that they lost subscribers. So everyone's like, oh my God.
It's a real measure, though, of how Wall Street just wants internal growth, right? So here's the graph from Axios. Actually, this is Aaron Davis at Axios did this chart of percentage change in global streaming customers. 10%, 10%, 5%, but always up until we got to this one little red slice right here where it's down 0.1%. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
All right.
Netflix is saying we're going to start looking at, this is something Ben Thompson called for a few weeks ago, ad-supported I don't want ads in my
Nope,
Netflix.
not
I think
happening.
that could go the other way for them, right? The stock, which had already been down 40% so far this year, it was down another almost 30%. Is I think competition from Disney, right? HBO.
It's competition from Disney, HBO. They put a lot of money into building content, and they also have been raising prices. They've had 2 price hikes in the last, year and a half?
That's what I was going to get to. What about inflation? You know, people aren't making as much money nowadays, and they're just trying to cut costs. It is what it is.
We did think, though, that in COVID, this was like heaven for streaming services, right? Because
Right.
you're all stuck at home.
All right.
It's Netflix model is tough, though, because all the catalogs being pulled back by the various other
Right.
streaming services who want it for themselves. They lost The Office to Peacock and all of that. And so they have to Marvel goes to Disney. So they have to do original content, which is expensive. So they have to, I think that's the reason the prices went up. Netflix has 222 million paying subscribers. There might have been a little hint about this because last week Netflix said, and we're going to get all of you freeloaders who are borrowing your subscription from somebody else to pay. They estimate that's 100 million households, 30 million in the U.S. and Canada, that don't pay for Netflix but borrow a password.
Yeah.
That is an astonishing number to me.
It's
I just can't
unfortunate.
believe. I'm like, wow.
That's almost half.
I mean,
of
do
their-
y'all have?
Yeah.
I pay for my own subscription, and I do not share it. It's only shared in the house under LastPass. Nobody knows the password.
I think my kids might be using my Netflix. But that was originally, they were in the household and then they went to college. So at that point I said, well, yeah, you can take it with you. Probably shouldn't have, though, right?
I don't
and
know.
By now they're all living on their own. They probably shouldn't be using my Netflix, I guess.
Yeah, I would assume.
I do
if
think
once
it's
they're
kind
out
of
on
an
their
interesting
own,
thing.
Do your own account, if it were me.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, but it's also, think about like cell phone plans. Like, are your kids still on your cell phone
Yes.
plan? Leo?
Hardhead is not on my plan anymore. Hardhead is on his own.
You
College
are-
Hardhead.
Was it
better
when he
man
turned
than I.
18? What happened?
Yeah, he's in college now. College
have a
freshman.
job?
He works. Yes,
Yeah, so he
does.
can't afford to. My kids have jobs,
So
but I still pay. I pay for everybody's cell phone. I pay for Lisa's ex-husband's.
Will
cell
you
phone.
adopt me?
I bought your cell phone. I don't pay for your service.
You bought this one.
Yeah,
You bought Stacy's.
I bought. Yeah, do you
Did
use
buy
that,
mine,
by the way?
yeah.
Is that flip phone? Are you liking
do.
it? Okay, good.
Yeah, I like it.
How about
you
the
want me to
Kobo?
send it back?
No. How about the Kobo reader?
Okay, so I have to tell you, now I have a plethora of e-readers because for my birthday, my husband got me the latest Kindle
Oh, shoot.
because it's waterproof.
Andrew and I have got to
now-
start coordinating your gifts.
Yeah, y'all got to coordinate because now I've got 3 e-readers and I
Wow.
only need one and I don't know what to do with them.
Well, yeah. Give it to your kid. Doesn't she want one?
She refuses to read things on Kindle.
she likes paper.
She's analog.
Yeah.
That's
Got a
awesome.
little hipster tween here, or teen.
Anyway, I get, if Disney Plus is also looking at ads, I feel like that's why we pay for Netflix and Disney Plus. Hulu had ads and I ended up paying for the higher tier because I don't want to see ads, especially in the early days of these networks where the ads are the same over and over and over again.
But what's so important about this, I think, is that it's the dial goes one way or the other, right? Everything was supported by advertising, everything is supported by subscription, and now it's going to go back. But are they going to be able to get the ads? The ad market is shrinking. I don't know. Actually,
This is
it's not. Actually, I have a number this week that says
This
it's
is
not shrinking.
I don't know if you put this in or Stacy did. Carl Bodie, who you used to work with him at a gig home, of course. He's great. I enjoy, this is his Twitter thread.
It's a good thread.
I always enjoy watching one-time innovators, aka Netflix, now huge and successful, pivot to turf protection. It always involves using all kinds of distorted logic to justify making their product worse to please investors. In other words, adding ads, I guess. Like here in the Netflix letter to investors where they claim the problem with password sharing. By the way, Carl points out, streaming executives used to love and noted it had no material impact on subscriber totals and revenues. That may still be true, by the way, because if somebody's sharing a password, do you think they're going to have, once it's revoked, go out and buy Netflix, or just say, well, I
Some.
didn't? Some, but not all. That was always the
They
argument.
could turn that into a business model where I could create my own club on Netflix and get a cut of convincing Ant to be on my group and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people are doing that.
To meet investor demand, Bodie goes on. Is it Bodie or Baudet?
Short for
I always said
bodation.
Bode.
Okay.
Carl Bode. So I'm like, well, your way is
Have you ever
different.
met him?
I don't know. In person? No.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
Stacey's
how would
never
you
met
know?
Anybody she works
He,
with. Yeah,
he actually lives in Seattle now, but I've never met him in person.
I like his Twitter. We ought to have him on sometime.
I absolutely. I've been reading him for years. I love everything he writes. It's great.
Yeah, he's great.
To meet investor demand for
Wait, he's
improved.
been on the show, right?
Oh yeah, he has.
He was on
and I
the
asked
show.
him how to say his name.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I forgot.
So how,
Shocking.
Oh, right.
I think it was Bodie. I think that's why I say Bodie. To meet
okay.
investor
I was
demand
like,
for
he's just
improved.
Carl.
Just Carl to me. To meet investor demand for improved quarterly returns at any cost, under this lovely public model we've developed, the company starts to effectively self-cannibalize and make its product crappier and more expensive.
Like newspapers.
Price hikes, worse customer service, less features. It's fewer features. He needs your red pencil.
Grammarly.
Grammarly. Hashtag Grammarly. Sponsor. Well, okay. Cable companies spent the last few years whining about how streaming password sharing
Doing great reads today, Leo.
I did that one on
This
purpose.
is what you do for a living?
Cable companies spent the last few years whining about how if I do it in a pompous voice, I never make mistakes.
Do it.
Cable companies spent the last few years whining about how streaming password sharing was piracy. Netflix has increasingly been shoved toward that position by the market as well, despite the fact that it's, well, not true.
Wow.
Blah, 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 blah. But
the
he made the
thing
point.
is-
He made the point, which is what happens once you become successful. Then it's all about covering your turf, protecting your turf, keeping your market share up.
Well, yes, and I mean, you have to keep innovating. At a certain point, that's hard. There's only so many times you can learn and relearn.
Yes, that's
and
all the
Wall
cell
Street
phone
demands
makers.
constant growth.
Yeah.
You know, when
This is why I don't have public money in my company. I can just coast along, delivering a consistent product, and I don't have to worry
Stacey,
about
they're
anything.
knocking at the door to give you millions?
No one has knocked on my door. I don't even get stuffed ants in the mail.
But if they were, you wouldn't take it.
I'd probably just sell out. I'll be honest. If someone wants to offer me a few million, I'd be like, yeah,
Yep.
take it.
Mount.
Believe me, but it would be more than a few million. Come on, hold out.
I don't think so.
You know,
I wouldn't want
What's
to
your
stick
price?
around.
What's your number? Oh, wait a minute. You got to stick around for 3 years.
3 years?
Isn't that usually?
Golly.
It's like
It's usually the earn out.
You
Yeah.
got to stick around. For
Yeah.
3 years.
So I don't.
Now,
think
how
I
much
would
would you
do that.
pay? You just wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't. I just feel like.
And you've got to make it grow in those 3 years to a certain.
So Elon
level.
Musk comes along and says, "Stacy, I want to buy Stacy on IoT. I will give you $4.3 million. It's worth a tenth of Twitter. I mean, a thousandth of Twitter. I mean, 100,000th of Twitter."
I would say.
You're not helping.
I mean, if I had to stay on for 3 whole years, I would say no. And grow it? No, thank you.
No, you wouldn't do it.
It's stressful.
Yeah.
you know, a
I
couple
mean, what would I
years
do with
ago.
that money?
Retire after 3 years. Right? Would you want to retire?
I mean,
What would you do if you retired? Would you garden? Would you make
yeah.
cookies?
I'm like, what would I do?
Yeah, I have
I
the
would
same-
probably go work for a policy. I would.
Oh,
I
that's
would work
fun.
for a think tank.
Like
or
make the
something.
world be a better place kind of thing.
Probably the same thing I do, but with resources to
For
be
free.
like,
Yeah.
I would be absolutely
screw the
lazy.
man.
Yeah.
Lazy and love it.
If Elon said you have to meet with me in person, would you then? Elon wants his final. I am never coming back to the table. This is it. $43 billion. Although a lot of people have said, first of all, where's he going to get that money? He's have to sell a huge amount of
He's looking
Tesla
for it now.
stock. Went to Goldman Sachs and others. Some people are saying, well, you get some hedge funds involved. The problem is it ain't going to stop at 43. It's going to go closer to 50. I've seen a number of so-called experts like Jim Cramer say he's not going to be able to get the money. No one else is going to buy Twitter. It's not in play. Who would want it?
Well, hold on. He wouldn't be able to get the money because he's trying to buy Twitter, but are they assuming the risk is him not being able to get the money back because he's not earning enough off of Tesla?
He'll use his Tesla stock as
collateral
security against it, and that is highly volatile.
Okay. All right.
Oh, interesting.
That's where the risk is.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
And he's already borrowed a huge amount against the Tesla stock.
Right.
Oh, didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
So we've talked about this probably beyond the point where it's interesting, but do you think he was serious about doing it or?
No.
No.
Why not?
What does he want with Twitter?
I mean,
What's the attention he's getting?
He's getting exactly what he wanted, right? But he doesn't need the
Right.
attention and ego, you know?
Yeah.
You don't need to actually spend money on something if you just, shout loud enough about it and you're Elon Musk.
He doesn't need the Soros of Twitter. He just wants the attention.
I mean, they were ready to put him on the board.
Well, as a way to stop him from doing this, but yeah. I started filling things in the rundown this morning, and I put the beginnings of Twitter stuff down under Twitter, thinking, surely we're past this now.
There's still a huge amount.
Kept going.
No.
Even
we're stuck
Ben
with it for a
Thompson
while.
has weighed in. April 18th, a couple of days ago. Back to the future of Twitter. This is, of course, Ben is one of our favorite strategists at stratechery.com.
Is it ch or ch?
Stratechery?
We say this every time.
I believe it's Baudet. It's spelled stratechery, but it's pronounced Baudet.
We need a pronunciation guide for this show.
We do.
But see, this is what's so interesting, Stacey, and you're discovering this now as a podcaster as well. Most of the time, all this stuff is just written. No one has to say it out loud. But as podcasters/broadcasters, we have to say it out loud. And oftentimes, for the first time it's ever been said out loud, except by the person's mother. So we have to figure it out. That's why for us, the GIF versus GIF thing is so fraught. We have to decide how it's pronounced. And I'm going to say stratechery. I believe that's correct.
Fair enough.
I actually choose words. Sometimes I catch myself saying, do I need to quote this person by name if I actually record the book?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. So I actually haven't read Ben's post.
So he suggested breaking it up into a social graph company and an app company. I'm not sure that I really get what that means, but it's Ben, so we talk about him.
So I guess the social graph is the thing that you sell to advertisers. It's the thing that people want to know.
Right, and there's a per user value that you can then move out.
Right. But what fills that social graph, what informs that social graph, is the app. So if you separate the two, suddenly your social graph no longer has the value that it had.
Well, that's the paradox of Twitter, right? When they killed the API, and it goes into my friend Bill Gross in there when he tried to build monetization strategies on top of Twitter, and that's what scared them, and they shut it all down then.
Do you think now in hindsight, so Bill Gross's plan, he owned TweetDeck. Actually, he owned a number, I think.
Well, no, he actually got stopped from buying. He bought others, and then he was ready
going
to buy TweetDeck,
and then
they swooped in and said
Yeah.
no and bought it, and that's when he knew that it was screwed.
So his plan, which was I thought quite clever, he's a smart fella, friend of yours, was to buy up all the clients and thereby, in effect, making his holdings more important than Twitter itself. And because everybody would use his stuff to get to Twitter, in a way, splitting the company along these same lines where,
That's
Twitter
why I bring it
still
up,
owns the social graph, but he owns the apps. And it would be a way of, in effect, acquiring Twitter without actually acquiring Twitter.
And they could have said that there's a cost to the API. They could have done that. They could have done a per user cost to the API.
Did they make a mistake?
They could have done a rev share.
Because you just cut them off, basically.
Yeah, they just cut it off, and they cut off potentially the huge growth. Now, Blue Sky starts to go that way, right? Blue Sky says there's a commodity list of layer of speech, which wouldn't be just Twitter. It could be any other social network, and then you build stuff on top of that if you start to open source it. you could have had much more growth. People make fun of Twitter. Oh, it's just tiny. It just has 36 million people. Right? Well, it could have grown, but then trying to control the content would have been much more difficult.
But as we can do on the Fediverse, if you distribute the content that way, it is controllable locally. So in some ways, that it offloads the moderation problems in a way that, at least in the Fediverse, works quite well. Of course, it's not as big as Twitter.
It lets you choose your moderation model.
Yeah.
I'll take Leo's boring Twitter versus Ant's fun Twitter versus my grouchy Twitter versus Stacy's
nice Twitter.
Nice Twitter.
Smart Twitter.
What was I gonna? I was like, oh God, it's gonna be like Pollyanna Twitter.
Called it.
Stacy's moral panic Twitter versus
Stacy's nerdy Pollyanna Twitter.
I would submit that it is not, in fact, that's not why Twitter is not growing. It's not because there aren't a variety of clients and all sorts of ways to interact with it.
Not today, I agree.
It's the nature of Twitter. It's the 280 characters. It's the personality of Twitter is not mass appeal like Facebook is.
Not anymore.
I don't think it ever was.
Really?
Was it ever? I mean, look, we're the wrong people to ask because you all love Twitter.
Well, yeah, we're in the circle.
Yeah, you're inside.
Yeah, we're all those. I mean, I think there's actually a little bit of that because to be on Twitter, you ultimately have to have something to say that's interesting to someone else on Twitter or a big enough group on people, right? Of people on Twitter.
I think you're right.
Facebook,
Stacey.
you just have to have something interesting to say to your friends, right?
Yeah.
Or in your life. Or you report, you're sharing something there.
Yeah.
Or in TikTok, you're making something. But in Twitter, you have to have an opinion.
Well, speaking of opinions.
So I think a lot of people don't want to share their opinions to everybody, and that's fine.
Speaking of opinions, Malik had quite an opinion. Musk or not, Twitter CEO needs to go.
Is that fair?
What Burr got into
He does not like Agrawal.
Is that fair? I mean, he's just been the CEO for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Ohm writes, this 37-year-old is woefully out of place as a guy leading a company, trying to fight for its independence and remain a functioning entity.
I mean, if you look at the lineup, Musk versus Agrawal is not a great lineup.
Yeah,
poor guy,
Yeah.
It's lopsided.
I feel like Agrawal reminds me a little of Sundar Pichai, somebody who was a good soldier, operations guy, deep within the company, who kind of rose perhaps beyond his
skill set.
Yeah, kind of.
He's Peter's principled up there.
He's Peter's principled up. Yeah, and I mean, look, Jack Dorsey couldn't solve it. Ev Williams couldn't solve it. Twitter is a tough nut to crack. I don't see any reason. Why do you think Dorsey made Agrawal or the board? By the way, that's another thing that's coming under huge fire is the board itself. Dorsey said the board is dysfunctional, has always been dysfunctional. Dorsey, after he left, has lambasted the board. Sounds like this is a very poorly run company, all in all.
Oh, boy. But it's not uncommon to have like a CIO or CTO come in.
Well, Tim Cook's an example of where it really worked well. He was an operations guy who made Apple even bigger.
I don't think they had a plan. I think
Dorsey left
I do
abruptly,
think there's
didn't he? Nobody knew he was going to.
Yeah, he left abruptly. This guy basically, I think they kind of were like, "You want it? Okay.
Who wants this? He got the short straw.
Who wants
potato?
Yeah.
And then I think it would be nice if Twitter had like somebody with a visionary plan for what to do and who could communicate that clearly to both the employees, the board, and the masses. I don't think Agrawal's it, but I mean,
Ohm writes, Agrawal.
What do you do with something?
What
like
do
Twitter?
you do? No one's been able. I mean, you could argue Jack Dorsey is a competent innovator. Ev Williams, very competent. Ohm writes, Agrawal has been part of the underperforming Twitter establishment for a decade, and I'm yet to hear any fresh ideas from him or the company. Tech media has lapped up a flurry of minor product tweaks and sees them as a season of change. I have read many articles about the Twitter CEO discussing censorship and freedom of speech. I was hoping that equal, if not more, energy was going to be spent by both the executives and the media on the business of Twitter's business. It is, after all, a publicly traded company. He's just disappointed.
Stacey, you think
why not just clean house? Because this sounds like just like any other corporate shakeup where they come in and take everybody out from the top and start over. Why not just do that? Is it?
Well, you got to
people
have
vying
someone
to
with an
take those
idea. Who
positions?
has an idea?
Yeah.
Jack does with Blue Sky. That's the thing. I think Blue
So
Sky
why did he
is an idea.
leave?
I don't know.
Couldn't get his way.
I don't know.
Right.
I
Blue
guess the
Sky
board-
is still
maybe the
alive. I think
board-
It's still
Agrawal is still encouraging its
Yeah.
omens. If the board of directors at Twitter is serious about finding a way forward as a standalone company, one that isn't being jerked around by a billionaire or Wall Street hucksters who call themselves activist managers, in making a bid for Twitter, Musk has given Twitter a chance to shake off its stupor, tighten the belt, and run leaner, faster, and further. And that starts with new leadership right at the top. I can't disagree with Ohm.
Let's give it to
That's
Ohm.
harsh.
Ohm Malik
Ohm
for
should run
Twitter.
it.
It's easy to
Ohm
see.
for Twitter. Ohm for Twitter.
I'm like, it's easy to point all that out, but it really is like, what is the, and Ohm actually might have I would not be surprised if Ohm had opinions, thoughts on what to do with Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just so hard to say. I mean, like, it's easy to be like, well, this guy's not doing it. And you like Blue Sky, but was there a revenue model associated with it that
No, it's very unproven. It's very innovative and not thought through.
and once you're
I like
public, you
innovations are.
can't do that. That's why Dell went private. He was like, oh crap, the
Yeah.
cloud and edge computing and all this is going to eat our lunch if we stay out in the public markets. Let's take it private. So
here's
maybe
a
that's
parlor
what someone should
game.
do.
So Stacy, let's say that Musk gets close, and then a white knight arrives. What technology company, like, should Google buy Twitter? What would Google do with Twitter if it had it? Facebook.
No,
'cause they
someone
own
should
it,
take
it's not
it.
gonna work.
They should take it private. Like Google's not. There's no
he's doing.
model for.
We're saying
Is there
Maybe
anybody
you
out there who
you
could
could get
actually
a
make
crazy crypto nerd.
Oh no!
is
oh,
it,
no.
am I reading this wrong? Where it seems like Ohm and others are speaking about Twitter as if it's just a failing mess, yet at the same time, any Twitter competitor that tries to pop up never even stands a chance. So why are they
point.
getting so much grief? They're doing something.
Who
right.
says it has to be this big? I guess same as Netflix.
Because
doing,
they're
right?
public. That's what
They're
Wall
public,
Street
yeah.
does.
That's the
That's
problem.
kind of
Wall
why
Street.
you don't want to take their money.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that's what Netflix is going up against right now.
Well, good billionaire to take it private would be a nice thing.
But
Should,
eventually
Jeff
they'll want a
Bezos
return
buy it?
on their money.
Maybe Jeff should buy it. He didn't. I don't think he bought the Post to make money. He bought the Post to preserve
No.
a public forum that was very important. If
Yeah, he could.
maybe he'd feel the same way. The problem is you still have so many problems with Twitter that no one knows how to solve.
But part of Stacy's point is that you have problems based on the public market expectation. If you were private, you could set your own expectations, right?
What was Twitter's revenue? Let's go back to their last financial.
They had one profitable quarter, I think Q4 2021, and then I don't think they made a profit last quarter. As I
Oh my
remember.
God!
Yeah, it's not good.
They've only made.
Well, thank goodness for those
They haven't
10,000
figured out the
Twitter
algorithm.
Blue subscribers that we are.
We're in the few, the proud.
Yeah.
The Twitter Blue.
What is probably 10,000?
Here,
Not
cheers.
very many.
Cheers.
The few, the proud, the Twitter Blue. Cheers, cheers.
Big cup.
I mean,
little
they
cup.
boosted their revenue by quite a bit year over
Yeah.
year.
Revenue. Do you see a profit
yeah,
in there?
and gross profit. Well, let's go down to their EBITDA profit. Let's see.
So, somebody's saying in the IRC that Elon wants to reinstate Trump. Is that true, or that's just
He
speculation?
hasn't said it, but it's presumed.
It's
It's presumed?
He's sort of.
Well, because the whole
cares?
speech, if it's legal, it goes up.
So he's says let's get back to the free speech thing.
Oh yeah. Plus the I made some joking tweets about it, and then I ended up on Fox News, and Glenn Greenwald and Andrew Sullivan came after me.
What?
And so all the
He had a
Elon
nice
boys,
busy week
Wait
last
a
week.
minute, I missed this one.
He was
all
really busy
the Elon
last week.
boys.
Where should I go
are
to
after
find
me.
this? What was it on?
And the reason they're after me is because they want Trump to be back.
Yeah.
They want. I mean, the funny thing is, you're against free speech. No, I'm not. You're just yelling at me all the time. You can yell at me. I'm not telling you not to yell at me. Go ahead and yell at me. How am I against free speech?
Right.
I don't like Elon. I have my free speech, but you're yelling at me like I shouldn't have my speech because I don't agree with your speech. F you.
So
I said, here's what it was. I said,
It sounds so
that-
productive.
Yes. Well, here's what I said. It was halfway through the day of Elon. I woke up in the morning saying I'm going to edit my book today, and then this happened, and I can't like for some stupid reason I can't help myself. I've got to tweet about this because I'm like the world.
this is why
universe expects it.
everyone should put away the Twitter right now.
No. So I tweeted at some point midday. I said today on Twitter reminds me. It makes me think of the last night in the last Berlin nightclub. At the dusk of Weimar, Germany.
You invoked Godwin's Law.
I was actually invoking Cabaret, the movie. They're all too stupid to get it.
It's one more step to the Nazis.
I put it in.
Well, yeah, and they they went berserk. So
what did they? What was their response? Wait a minute, Fox invited you on to defend your tweet?
No. They quoted the tweet.
Oh.
I don't know what
As
show.
what? Saying what?
I don't know. It was liberal professor. It was every case.
Liberal
if you
professor.
look at me on Fox News, it's liberal New York professor.
Yeah. Oh,
we think he's Jewish.
You know what New York
We'll just say
means.
that.
You know what New York means. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Liberal New York professor invokes Weimar Republic. I don't think their audience would know what that means.
No.
Likens free speech to Nazi Germany.
I was likening it to. I mean, I even put up a clip from Cabaret, but they still didn't get it. Too stupid.
Well, you got to get
I'll get
licensing.
more now. I'll get emails and that kind of stuff now that will come from this. But F you all. You're just idiotic. So I don't care.
That's interesting, though. That means you have a huge amount of people are very aware of you on the right.
Well, what happens when Andrew Sullivan
straw
and Glenn Greenwald do it, that
12,000
draws
likes.
that's the bat signal.
Yes.
The boys and the bots.
Yes.
And I've learned now.
Well, the good
give it
news is
24 hours,
Taylor
and you squirrel
Lawrence
away.
ran right by waving a flag, and they chased her instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Letting you off the hook. The hounds.
Right, exactly what
The
happened.
hounds followed the other rabbit.
Yeah, now that I'm doing this will come back up for a while, and somebody will send me some email saying, calling me, whatever.
So
and fine.
Taylor in the Washington Post, she's great. I mean, I think we all
She is
agree.
great.
She's a very astute observer of social media. But did she make a mistake in revealing the identity of the libtards of TikTok, Twitter?
No, you
No,
cannot
she
be an
did not.
adult on the internet creating an account that has real repercussions for people without setting yourself up for the same real repercussions.
Yes, for accountability.
So it was an
As a
anonymous
journalist.
account, but it was absolutely, Glenn Greenwald retweeted it, 1.8 million followers on Twitter. Tucker Carlson would continually bring up clips from libs of TikTok.
He would appear on his show anonymously.
Anonymously. I mean, you see her face, right? She didn't have
I didn't
voice
know what
change to the voice changer, did she?
which would have been pretty funny. In any event, her identity wasn't super kept secret, but she was anonymous, and so but she was revealed through the reportorial work of Taylor Lawrence and two of her colleagues at the Post. Although I guess that information might have been available in other places, and that was seen as doxing.
But as Stacey just said, you do something in public that has public repercussions, you do it to other people, and then you say it can't be done to you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, as
James
a
Fallows, who
reporter-
I admire greatly as a journalist, came in. There was a discussion among some journalisti online, and he just said, "This is journalism. Period. Just shush."
Yeah,
It's not
I mean,
doxing. It's
Reporting.
It's reporting. So I'm
reporting,
trying to
and
get the outline of this. So it's okay to have an anonymous account on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. This is
the
TikTok.
internet.
And
Go
if
ahead.
if I had an anonymous account on Twitter, or somebody had anonymous, there's trolls who were attacking you, Jeff, and they were attacking me anonymously. If we found out who they were, would it be appropriate to dox? I don't want to use the word dox because that's loaded.
Yes, that's
Reveal
not-
their
that's a loaded
identity in
word.
public.
Depends on what they're doing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But so
in this
the
case,
thing that
there's
made
no
this
question. This
okay
question-
was
this
that
case is
she
no question.
was that the person who owned this handle was making political speeches.
was
She
harming
became
people,
a
was
public
causing,
figure.
She became a public figure.
Yes.
I would say she became a public figure, and then by virtue of that, her actions created direct harm for people. So
Yes.
a teacher lost her job.
Okay.
So once you have Like, if you're just saying something nasty and it doesn't cause harm, then, but in the American legal system, I mean, libel, slander, all of those things, and they're true.
But she wasn't doing anything illegal.
Right.
She was doing something in public. And to me, that's sufficient. That there is not, there's not a presumption of privacy in public. I do defend anonymity. I do think it's important for the vulnerable, but she was violating that for others and then hypocritically saying it shouldn't come after me.
So she was doxing other people.
She was causing people to lose their jobs.
Well, she wasn't doxing them. She was pulling them. And this is why the internet is such a scary place and why people they don't understand that everything you put on it is searchable and findable and even weaponizable against them.
So she was reposting TikToks mostly? I mean, that's the implication, libs of TikTok.
She was finding, yes, she would find people's TikToks. She would repost them under this thing, and then other people would draw more attention to them.
Right. Then it'd be amplified by Glenn Greenwald.
She would set loose the dogs
and Tucker Carlson
of far-right
Twitter.
Yeah.
So it was Taylor Lorenz that owned the anonymous account?
No. Taylor Lorenz is the reporter who revealed her identity and was accused of doxing.
Have some more coffee,
Ed. Maybe we should trade mugs. Okay. And I should give credit because Taylor didn't do this alone. She had reporting help from Allison Kreitz and Razan Naklawi at the Washington Post.
But I don't want to leave this discussion before Yashan Wang's thread on moderation, I think, is relevant here.
All right, I'll pull that up.
Because it's this back to the Twitter story. What he's saying, Yashan used to run Reddit. And so from the voice of experience, he can say, Elon's in for a mess of pain running a social network. And he goes through this, I think, brilliantly. And he makes a few points, which I think are relevant to TikTok as well. As where are the rules? What are you enforcing? And one point he makes that I think is wonderful. He said, listen, all you people, you think that your stuff's getting taken down because of the substance of what you say. No. If you said everything you said civilly and nicely, nobody would take anything you say down. It's because of your behavior. It's because you're being jerks and a-holes and awful people, right? And that's what it is. And so we focus on this as left versus right, and we try to get all kinds of false balance going there. No, it's about awful behavior and where that comes from. And guess what? It comes from one place more than the other. And that's why that side is trying to say, you can't take down our stuff because that's our freedom of speech. How dare you, right? Because on the left, they say take down the hate speech. And then when the hate speech gets taken down, the right says, whoa, that was my hate speech. And so Yashan, I think, does a good job of saying, it's the Mike Masnick rule, right? The impossibility of content moderation at scale. And this is about a society trying to figure out what our standards and norms are, and we ain't there yet.
It's complicated.
Clearly.
It is indeed.
I'll just say I don't think Elon is worried about this because I don't think he really wants Twitter. Does he really want Twitter? What would he do with he knows how hard this would be. This is just a quagmire. He's got Tesla and SpaceX to run.
Yeah, but
he doesn't need this.
I could see him trying to put people in place as
only because you think he's a goofball, CEO. Right?
Well, I mean, he's a smart enough man to put all of those other things in place with SpaceX and Tesla. He's not out there building those cars or launching the rocket.
But he's doing two fairly important things.
For both those
he's putting the right people in place to make sure all of that stuff gets done. Even with all of his antics,
and
even
he's
with
still sleeping
skating
on the floor
by
of the
SEC.
He's
doing something.
The batteries in.
I honestly, it's very hard to tell with Elon. No one can tell what his motivations are. But it feels to me like he's just having fun. He's kind of trolling around. And he likes the attention. He likes to stir the ant's nest with a stick. He's like a kid poking the ant's nest. But I don't think he has any real ambition to run Twitter. That would be a very hard thing to do. Maybe he has enough ego to think he could solve all these problems. I don't know.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, why not?
Exactly what it is. And he's troll. He's a troll. He's trolling.
He's trolling.
And that's the joy he has.
Yeah.
And I think, and I want to be careful here, because
by the way, somebody said who was really trolling is the SEC. This is all about thumbing his nose.
In the TED interview, he goes right after the SEC.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. I think that's exactly what he's doing. Is saying you're going after me because of what I said on Twitter. Well, I'll buy Twitter. Then what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's
by the way, wouldn't change. Either he doesn't understand securities law at all,
Right.
Or this wouldn't change anything. Him owning the platform that he's pumping and dumping on does not change in any way the liability for pump and dump.
Yeah,
Maybe makes him more responsible. Yeah. He bought a platform just so he can pump up stock scams.
I want to be. I started on this road. I want to be careful here because I think neurodiversity is really important, and we have a lot to learn from the neurodiverse. But he brought up Asperger's in his TED Talk.
Yeah.
And I wonder what it was like to be Elon the child. I wonder, because he talks in that about the difficulty of understanding signals and having to learn, and
I would
being
also
probably
caution
made fun of because he didn't know
I would
how
caution
to play the
you
game the way everybody else plays it.
I would really caution you because everything Elon says is performative.
You think even that is?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. It might not be.
We don't know.
He might be coming from the heart, but so much of what he says is performative that I would not necessarily.
Well, he's even claiming that.
Who knows?
As a
which is
veil.
really insulting.
Yeah, no,
if you're a fan of
that's the case, that's
neurodiversity,
awful.
if you want to
Pretty
support it,
shit-tastic,
for somebody to say, "Oh yeah, well I'm on the spectrum,"
So I was headed down the path of trying to give him some empathy, but okay, you pulled me back from that.
Well, he may be,
He may be,
but it would be the first time he's been forthright about anything. I think this sounds a little bit more like I'm sleeping on the floor of the factory. In fact, he even brought that up at the TED Talk.
Yeah, that was was that a softball game?
Yeah. Well, Chris Anderson's not a hard hitter.
No.
And it was exactly the audience. Boy, that's Elon's audience right there.
Well,
I'm surprised.
Applause lines.
I'm surprised he didn't announce his NFTs. Perfect place to do it. All right, let's take a break. Now that we've offended pretty much anybody who's listening.
Hey, welcome to Twig.
It's 420, by the way, in case you want to, buy any.
I was like, no, it's only $250.
$250 on 420. Hey, actually, I want to tell you about a really cool company. I think we've talked about before, called Policy Genius. Do you know about them? If you're looking for life insurance, and you should be if you have a family, if you have kids, if the death of you, something happening to you, would be a financial problem for your loved ones, for rent, for mortgage payments, loans, education costs, everyday expenses, you need life insurance. That's the first grown-up thing I did when we had kids. I went out and got a life insurance policy. I still have one. Having life insurance through your job, I hope you have it. It's a nice benefit, but it's probably not nearly enough. Most people need about 10 times more coverage than their job offers to properly provide for their family. I also should point out, as I have learned, life insurance gets a lot more expensive as you age. So if you are still, starting out a family, it is better to get a policy now sooner than later. Policy Genius is very cool. It's a one-stop shop to help you find the life insurance you need at the right price. You click the link in the description, or you head to policygenius.com/twig, and you answer a few questions. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. And by doing this price comparison, this really saves you as much as 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. Then the team of licensed experts at Policy Genius are on hand throughout the entire process to help you understand your options and make choices with confidence. So you're not on your own doing this. The Policy Genius team, though, I should point out, works for you. They're not working for the insurance companies. Whether you're just starting to shop or have questions about your current policy, they're independent advocates offering unbiased advice. That's super important. Policy Genius does not add on extra fees. They do not sell your info to third parties. You can really trust them. Just look at the reviews. Thousands of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google. They have options to offer coverage in as little as a week, some without unnecessary medical exams. It's the easiest way and the best way to get that life insurance. Since 2014, Policy Genius has helped over 30 million people shop for insurance and placed over $120 billion in coverage. These are the kings of this business. While you're there, Policy Genius has home, auto, disability, renters, and more. So it's not just life insurance, but I really I remind you that, you may not want to think about it. You may put it off, but you really, if you've got a young, growing family, if you've got people dependent on you, you need life insurance. Head to policygenius.com/twig. Get your free life insurance quotes. See how much you could save and get that advice from the independent experts at Policy Genius. policygenius.com/twig. We thank them so much for their support of This Week in Google. I like this lower third. It's very simple. Just Policy Genius. Just Policy Genius. That's all you need. policygenius.com/twig. So we do have a sponsor, Grammarly. We've talked about it before, that does grammar checking. I was a little worried when I saw that Google Docs is going to start doing grammar checking. Then I started reading some of the things Google Docs recommending. Then I realized there's always going to be a place for Grammarly. Have you played yet with the Google Docs grammar checker?
No.
How do I turn it on?
I trust myself.
You'll get a purple squiggly line.
I guess I use Grammarly, so I don't know if
it's
Google
better.
Docs
Trust me. Let me see if I can find one example of Google Docs.
Where do you turn it on?
It's a purple line.
I'm not getting the purple lines. You must have to turn it on somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Spelling and grammar.
Yeah, there it is. That's it.
It's all. Well, I guess I'm just too damn perfect.
You're
I haven't got any
perfect.
perfect lines.
Did I not bookmark this?
Right.
Hey, Stacy.
They're doing tone recommendation.
Grammarly does tone recognition.
Yeah, but
Mine's always confident,
Google Docs,
informal.
Yeah, which I like. Let me see if I can find. Maybe it's in this.
Grammarly even has emojis, which is so silly.
I found one. There's a couple of examples that were just really ridiculous, but now, see, I didn't bookmark them. So never mind. And I can't find it.
I can go open a Google Doc and see.
Oh, it was silly.
I'm in one now, and
silly
I have
stuff.
The couple purple squiggly lines, and I don't agree with them.
Oh, I get purple squiggly lines, but that's
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. This is from Motherboard.
It's all synonyms.
Here's from
what I have
Motherboard.
in there.
Title is Google's AI-powered inclusive warnings feature is very broken. So in this case, Motherboard writer Lorenzo Franceschi Bicchiere typed annoyed. Google said, nah, make it upset. Make it angry. Okay.
You say this about a woman, that's going to piss them off because, no, I'm angry.
This is worse, though. Social editor Emily Lipstein typed in Motherboard, the name of the website, and Google popped up to tell her she was being insensitive.
You motherboard.
Some of these words may not be inclusive to all readers. Consider using different words. Okay. Journalist Rebecca Baird-Remba tweeted an inclusive warning she received on the word landlord, which Google suggested she change to property owner or proprietor. Which, that's, I guess, is it the same? It may be the same, but what's wrong?
Yeah.
Is landlord? Do we not say lord anymore? Lords and ladies?
I still
Maybe
say
that's
landlord.
the issue. I'd be curious if you typed in something like white knight or white hat, what would happen?
There's always, some risks. They talk about, Google suggested Martin Luther King should have talked about the intense urgency of now instead of the fierce urgency of now in his I Have a Dream speech. John F. Kennedy should have used for all humankind instead of for all mankind. And,
Well,
yeah, obviously. Okay, I understand.
what makes a speech resonant often is when what makes good writing is when you know the rules, you break the rules, and you come up with. And a speech is also very
That's a good
different
point.
than a written.
That's a good point. So Motherboard fed a transcribed interview of neo-Nazi and former Klan leader David Duke into the inclusive editor. It got no recommendations, even though he uses the N-word and talks about hunting black people. But radical feminist Valerie Solanas' Scum Manifesto got many edits. She should use police officers instead of policemen, Google notes. Even Jesus.
It's just stunt journalism. This is silly.
All right. Stunt journalism. By the way, you might not want to use the phrase stunt journalism and just call it gimmicky. How about that?
It appears judgy. Stacey. You're judgy.
It's judgy.
Like all AI,
it's a fun article, but you're right.
It's
kind of In fact, that's what Google says. It's an ongoing evolution. Google says.
I made Simpson's book of quotations.
You did?
Twice.
Homer or Bart?
No, it's not this one. I don't have this one. But I remember there were things where the editor, people was trying to turn it into the cliche. I said that hearing Yoko Ono sing was like hearing a what did I say? Something like a
whale call?
No, it was. I said it was like hearing a bald eagle being goosed.
That's apt.
You want to agree with that?
Yeah.
The other one was that I said something about who's the guy who used to do that celebrity.
John suggests, by the way, for more inclusivity, you call it a goose being bald eagled instead.
Yes, exactly. Yes. What was his name who did Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous?
Robin Leach.
The Leach.
Here we are at the Lifestyles of Jeff Jarvis's house.
Oh, you do that
He called something tacky, and I said that was a case of the pot calling the kettle metal.
Oh, I like it.
And the editor wanted to make it black, and I said, no, you see, that was the
that's the play on words.
I'm breaking the cliche.
Oh, editors.
So I kept it in, and I won, and I made Simpson's quotations for those two ones. Yeah.
Well played,
Can you look
sir.
up and see if they have anything for me? No, they don't. I'll tell you right now.
Who's Leo?
Sorry, Leo.
No, I'm not in there. I'll never forget when I've told this story before. My dad, when I was a kid, my dad is a professor. He got a letter saying, you have been included in Who's Who.
Oh, yeah.
You probably get that letter once in a while, too.
No, I actually don't.
And for $55, we'll send you a copy of Who's Who with your name in it, which by the way, Dad, I think he's wised up since, but he did buy, and we had for many years on our library shelf, the Who's Who with Professor Leo F. Laporte in there. Yeah.
I've never
I hope
met
that someone
anyone
at the
who
cocktail
bought
party
it.
would say, oh, are you in that?
I'm in
Dr.
Who's Who.
Laporte?
Yes. Kids today have no idea that there was a thing called Who's Who. Now you just Google it.
They
have no idea there was a thing called a
high
phone
school
book.
students.
Who's Who and again, and I bet those letters get sent to proud parents all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marquis Who's Who.
Scam artists still doing their thing.
Yeah. By the way, according to Marquis
you did get
Who's
the
Who,
book.
it's
still a
remained the
scam.
standard for reliable and comprehensive biographical data.
So look yourself up. Are you in it, Leo?
Oh, do you
Is
think
your
you
dad
can?
still in it? How long do you get to be in it?
I
if
wonder
you
if you
paid
could-
to buy a book.
I wonder if you can look up somebody
In perpetuity.
I bet you it's not online. Oh, wait a minute. Marquis' biography's online. 1.6 million biographies. It's not too restrictive, I guess.
Did you look down on the homepage
What, on the homepage of Who's Who?
of Who's Who? Yeah.
Yeah.
Their featured listees spotlight.
Listy branding.
No. Okay, I went to marquiswho'swho.com.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where
where
you
I
are.
am. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Be part of Mark. Have you made strides in your career that deserve to be showcased to the world? Could you benefit from joining a notable network of like-minded, seasoned
Well, if so,
professionals?
join Twitter.
Are you
they
looking
seasoned?
Seasoned. Well seasoned. We should feed this to Google's grammar checker. Are you looking for an effective way to revive your professional reputation? What? Revive your revive your professional. Oh, Dad.
Clout walked up and said, hold up, hold my beer. I'll be right back.
Clearly,
Hold
this
my
is
beer.
now
Let's do
being
this on
aimed
Twitter.
at people who are old and need to be revived.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the rest of us are online.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll put you in a book that will be featured in libraries worldwide.
And never opened.
Never open.
Never opened. True
I
that.
mean,
Okay.
How do we get there?
Well, Stacy, what happened to Insteon? Do we know?
we don't know, and we will never. Well,
Is this
maybe
like
not
the
ever.
Wink fiasco or worse?
No, Wink actually was purchased, and people talked about what happened. So Wink still exists, and if you pay money,
Yeah,
your
that's the
Wink
problem
still
is that you had to
works.
pay for it. But
Yeah, people are
Insteon,
pissed about that.
tell me what Insteon is.
Insteon. So on Friday, Insteon is a smart home hub. It's been around since 2005.
One of
It
the
has a
first.
proprietary.
Yeah,
proprietary mesh network technology, works really well. People love it. I cannot tell you how many times people send me emails about how, Stacey, why are you wasting time with Smart Things or Home Assistant? Get Insteon. It just works. It's rock solid. People love it. So what happened is on Friday night, I started getting emails. People realized that their app wasn't working and their hub was down. And they were like, what the heck is happening? It's been pretty clear for the last couple of months that Insteon has been having some troubles. And
Financial?
apparently, financial, and they stopped supporting some of their stuff. They had some cloud outages, but they didn't really communicate, and then they came back up. So people thought this might be just a big cloud outage. But it turns out that it hasn't yet turned back on. And I went through, because I had gotten enough of these emails and started looking, and the people affiliated with Insteon, many of them are no longer with the company. And those that used to own the company are now denying that they have any
Oh, dear.
business with the company. So I found Rob Lilliness, who is the CEO of Smart Labs, which is the company that in 2017 Rob's private investment fund, Richmond Capital Partners, created Smart Labs and invested money into it to buy Insteon, the assets, and wrap that all up. So they had this smart home website that sold Insteon gear. They had the Insteon stuff. And he has scrubbed all mention of Insteon from his LinkedIn profile. And as of now, he no longer has a LinkedIn profile. He just took that sucker down. But
It's the same
of
as
the
death.
5 people,
He should-
of the 5 people
I've got
on
a
the
book he
management
can
team-
bite into that might help him
Yeah, who's who?
revitalize his
Sounds like the Cleveland Browns heading
Career.
to Baltimore.
yeah. Holy cow.
So he did actually respond to me on Tuesday, and he said he's not affiliated with the company, but he didn't answer any of my questions. And that was the only response he has. But he was clearly used to be affiliated with the company. So it's anyone's guess what has happened. And people are pissed.
So if you bought an Insteon hub and have been powering your smart home with Insteon, they had an app and everything, right?
Yeah.
None of that's working anymore.
Well, so Insteon has local control. If your hub was programmed,
Okay.
this is why people love it so much. If your hub was programmed, your timers and anything on the hub will still work. If you want to
good.
change anything, though, you need the app. Now, my thing of the week is actually a very comprehensive guide that we put together on what to do if your Insteon thing has failed. But we
Save
can
that.
just skip
We'll
over
talk
that.
about that then.
Okay.
So there is hope.
No,
Inst-
there's not hope for Insteon, but there's hope for your particular home.
There is
Still
something
use
you
your
can
product.
do. Yeah. Okay, good. Was it the problem with Insteon that it was proprietary and that Zigbee and Matter and all of these things have just kind of eclipsed it?
I think yes and no. I think it was, the fact that it was proprietary and it worked really well was great. I think the fact that it was a pain to buy and you need a professional installation, all of that is hard. And we've seen the smart home eclipse kind of the professional CEDIA type installers.
Yeah.
And then things like Matter coming on didn't help it.
Was Insteon
Yeah,
a
nobody
member
wants to
of the
build
Matter
proprietary.
Coalition?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah.
But
So-
Matter could theoretically help if you had a situation like this going forward, because you would have local control
Right.
with Matter,
Right.
theoretically, when it comes out.
Was it the Sonos of IoT?
The Sonos of IoT?
Well, Sonos is still around, so let's not.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
but no, in the
Sonos
sense
is
that
still
it
here.
worked well, but then a lot of other things came
They got
along.
eclipsed,
It was
yeah.
very expensive. It got
Yeah.
eclipsed. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably, and Sonos is expensive. Now, Sonos is still investing in things and having lawsuits and
Yeah, Sonos is going to be around, I think. I think they've decided to, but it does, in some respects, it kind of does sound like the Sonos of IoT. in some respects. All right, well, we'll find your we'll get your workarounds a little later in the show.
While we're on IoT, can I suggest one?
Yeah.
Because I want to hear Stacy, why did I say Amy? Talk about this. The puffs of air, line 82. Have you gone into this yet, Stacy?
Here's the video.
Going down to 82.
Let me show you Google's little signals.
Oh, yes.
Little signals.
Here you go. Watch the video. We'll all watch and learn.
At Google, we like to rehearse the future.
Wait a minute. Did she call it Google?
She's got an accent.
Leave it be.
Let me hear it again.
At Google, we like to
Google?
rehearse the future.
Google.
In
This week in
collaboration with
Google?
Map Project Office, we have explored how technology can support us in the background of our day-to-day lives.
A little Irish.
Oh, she's Scottish.
Through the lens
That's
of ambient
Google.
computing,
Google. Okay.
we're imagining
Google.
new ways to interact with technology, using less of our attention and allowing us to have moments of calm.
The calming accent.
Little Signals is a family of unassuming but charming objects that share notifications and information by engaging with our senses in more nuanced ways.
Wait a minute. Little unassuming objects that engage our attention?
This from the company
Can't
that brought
be
you Google
unassuming.
Glass. So
What?
Can't be unassuming if it's engaging, right?
Is this Blue Sky? Are they doing it? Or, well, let's listen.
No. This has been around for a
it's
while. This
play.
is the whole concept
Oh, it has?
of ambient information delivery. Yes, but keep going. This is a lovely.
Using sound, movement, and visual cues we can subtly perceive. A soft shadow, a friendly tap,
What?
a reassuring sound, a subtle indicator.
I'd never hear any of this,
there.
never see any of it.
A gentle motion. They use familiar patterns to calmly convey information and keep us in the loop.
The Google live. We're all in the Google live.
Gentle nudges at the right time in the right way. Dialing up only when
Okay,
necessary.
if you're just listening, it is not nearly as hysterical. There are little objects
These little
tapping on
signals are thought
things.
starters of how we can foster new behaviors and relationships with our
Oh.
technology.
Look at that. I turned it upside down.
Working in harmony with the objects we already love in a little way.
Beep. So, is this
So,
Google?
so there's a whole design philosophy. It's called.
this is what I want to
calm
hear,
design.
Stacy, on this.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we've had people, so this has been all the way back. So all the way back to like 2010, 2008, we were seeing people develop connected objects. Like, so one of the first ones that I recall hearing about was like an umbrella stand that would just light up softly if rain was expected. So as you walked out the door, your umbrella stand would glow and you'd be like,
forget
oh, I should
me.
take an umbrella. And that was one of the and there were lots of ideas around products like this, and most of them have failed. Goodnight lamp was a wonderful one that it's been developed into other things, which is like just by turning on a light, it would turn on a light somewhere else with like a connected other person, and they would just know that you were home, or that it was like a way to connect with people from far away. And the idea here was that you wouldn't have a screen. You would have some object or device in your home that would give you some sort of indication that you could pay attention to in a way that was not like a notification screaming at you. And these objects really fetishize things like light, sound, motion as a way to get your attention. And a lot of them are nice, but
So look, you can build them yourself using
yeah.
an Arduino, and they have the 3D printer models. So these are the three things we saw, which is the thing you push down.
I could use it for my father to remember to take his pill and then plop down.
Well,
the thing
that
to
was
say
an
yes, I
interesting
took
one. It looks like the hands of a clock, but instead of being the hands of a clock, it taps on your medicine bottle.
But okay, it taps
can
on the
also do other
medicine
things,
bottle,
too.
but how audible is that? You know, you tapping on the
Well,
medicine
the
bottle.
idea around them is they they come to your attention when you need them. And so in that case, probably you were looking at something like light triggered the sensor
At
to
Google,
indicate
we
that
like to
light and
rehearse the
time,
future
for
in
example.
that project office.
So opening your medicine cabinet gave you that notification, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to. It said
there's
launch experiment, but all it's doing is showing me that same video again. So I wanted to see what the experiment. Oh, here.
Your explanation
design.
helps,
and
Miss
you
Stacey.
see them. You see these things getting built into, like, people like tying their Philips Hue lights to various pieces of information and sorry, lights changing colors to like tell you something has happened. And that's just ambient information delivery. And it's really popular. And it's actually, I've set up a bunch of them in my home and it's actually quite nice.
Oh,
so
tell us what you.
I like the
what
idea
tell us what you
of
have.
this.
Yeah.
I like the idea
so
of
I
this,
had
but
a-
I feel like I would struggle with catching. You
Sure,
know,
so
So here's
way
a little.
back in the day.
Here's a little air
Go on.
thing. It interacts with this. Pulses of air move nearby items to attract attention. So it'll blow, wiggle, or spin. That's an
So
example.
like something like this, you could use it for something that's not imperative that you notice it right away.
Okay,
But
that's
like,
right.
A good example would be something like quitting time, actually. So
Okay.
here's like, it could, this way, if it's 5 o'clock and usually you want to have a reminder to yourself to get up and stop working, right? That
Okay.
could start blowing around 5 o'clock and you could be working and you'd notice it and you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's time to go. But it's less intrusive than like a
Yeah.
bell going off.
Right.
I like this one.
Okay.
This is kind of interesting. This one's called Movement, and 7 pegs that graphically represent information, like a calendar or timer, through their height and motion. The pegs work individually or as a group, and are tapped for simple input. That's really interesting. I mean, they're just these are very interesting.
These are super
Things don't have
fun.
to
And,
shout at
like,
you. They can just hint at as normal environmental things do.
And like this one with the haptic feedback is fun. Like I've seen things like that. I've seen projects like for bicyclists, like little vests that people wear with haptic feedback, where the closer a car gets to you on a bicycle, the more the haptic feedback happens. Like the harder or the faster the percussive motion would happen. So you'd feel the car coming up behind you. So you'd know it was there, but it would build slowly, presumably. Or if it built too fast, you'd figure it out and you'd be like, I should swerve. Oops, sorry.
This one's really interesting.
I should swerve.
Tap makes use of surfaces. This is the one that was tapping on the medicine bottle to create sounds that act as notifications. A stronger tap means more pressing news. So you could now you can download these as little zip files.
Is this a script?
It's an STP.
Oh, he's gonna make one now.
Here it
I think we
comes.
could experiment with little signals.
could, yeah.
He's firing
You
up
come
the
here and
terminal.
walk you through how to make the air object.
This doesn't look quite so.
You need a 12-volt computer fan, an Arduino, a transistor, a resistor. So these are do-it-yourself projects.
Yeah. And like the air blowing might be fun. Like, let's say you've got a sensor tied to your plant that is like when it needs water. What if you start seeing the leaves blow and you're like, oh, that means it needs water?
I think this is
remember
cool.
me?
So instead of having a boxing glove that hits me, Stacy, you could have something
We could
that
build one of
blows in my
these and
ear.
urgent tapping.
Just blows in
Tap,
my ear.
tap, tap on your forehead. Yeah.
Boop.
I thought we solved that with Ant.
Could have a
Just
booper. Yeah. So I'm trying to find a replacement.
Yeah.
I would like to build one of these. This is cool. Maybe Burke can build us some of these. Because there's some
super
soldering.
popular. It's
Yeah.
it's super like,
And there's
but
code.
these,
So you can write your own code. It's neat. Wow.
and I thought we'd have this sort of thing in more places, but until we have a truly open kind of format for communicating information, and then the end result, like the what's it called, the execution of a puff of air or whatever, there's no way to build something like that that's really universal. So you get these like single-use products that are real gimmicky feeling, and it's kind of sad.
Why does this look like Visual Basic or something?
This is JavaScript, but what it looks like you could do It's got an API. You could query a weather service for a forecast. So that's what this code does. They get the forecast, and then they react to the forecast by doing something. Depending on which thing you're connected to.
I used to have a light in my closet that if it was below freezing, it would turn blue. So when in the morning when I went into my closet, it would be blue if it was below freezing.
Smart.
Can it in turn do something else? If I hit the red thing down,
yes.
Does it send my doctor a notification? Yes, you took the pills. Or
sure. It's all programmable. So in this case, if you set it to something, to whatever the trigger is, it'll turn the fan on. It'll blow on you.
I might find that irritating.
Well, this is the air object. So there's code for all different kinds of objects. This is actually the one I'd be most interested in, is this little tap object. Yeah. That's the one I want to play with.
Plus, it seems to operate on 2 axes.
Yeah.
Go down and in.
Oh, this is the same one. This is the air one. Oh, well, I'm going to have to... maybe we should build one of these. It'd be kind of fun.
Build it, program it.
Yeah.
And then give control of it to Stacy.
Yeah.
On the set.
And
we
then,
could.
Yes, then let me have it.
Actually, all you need is it's on the table, and when you start to say something bad, she just taps like an insistent ant.
Yeah, and I could put a little finger on it, it's like it's tapping.
So if you go to, there's a site called calmtech.com. It'll talk about some of these sort of things in other places that you see this developed. I've had a person on the podcast talk about this. So
here's a calm tea kettle,
nice.
A calm office window, a lavatory sign, a calm Roomba. Yeah, I like this idea. I mean, there's a reason why these alerts coming from your assistants and your phone are loud and annoying. I mean, otherwise you might miss it. Right?
Well, this would be very permissioned. This is, I'm going to pay attention to you at an agreed upon level. When I see the plant's leaves going like that, then that's fine. I've agreed to that, and I'll do something, and that's that. It's nice and simple. It's easy. I like that idea. It's not intrusive. It's not loud.
Cool.
It's not in your face.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you, Stacy, for explaining it.
Yeah.
Should we build some stuff?
If you want to know more about this, Amber Case is the woman who you should follow.
And you have some, where did you get that blue light? Did you build that yourself, or?
Oh, I programmed a Philips Hue using IFT.
Oh, duh. Of course.
That was hard.
No, I've done stuff like that.
I programmed it.
Yeah.
But
Sarcasm.
Kevin actually did something. He programmed a LifeX bulb tied to the price of Bitcoin, which is, again, another example of doing something like this. It's calm.
Very calm. I like it. Mr. Beast gonna be on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone.
Wow.
Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone is
Reminds me of the Kevin Rose cover of Business Week.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Kiss of Death, isn't it? So if you get the cover of Sports Illustrated, that means you can be traded, right?
Or you break a leg usually.
You break your leg. No, we don't wish ill to Mr. Beast. Rolling Stone will debut.
What I love about this is not just Mr. Beast; it's creators. It's
creators, called the Creator Issue.
To creators.
This is because of Penske Media, I guess.
Yes, it is. And they're going to do. It's almost like a new VidCon. They're which VidCon loves creators.
They're going to do a live event in May.
Yep.
In Los Angeles, sponsored by Meta. That will bring. It's kind of a VidCon. It'll bring together hundreds of creators. Jan Wenner's still there? Oh,
no,
Gus
his son
Wenner.
is still there.
It's
Gus
his
Wenner.
son. Oh,
I was
interesting.
like,
Son,
what?
charged. Yeah.
Wenner called the inaugural Creators Issue a crescendo moment for the company, which plans to invest heavily in covering creators as part of youth culture moving forward. Yeah, Rolling Stone covered music as part of the youth culture. This is the new youth culture.
It opens the arms wider to respect the greater creator culture.
Bella Porch, TikTok star, will be interviewed. A deep dive into Black creators. This is interesting. Rolling Stone. In February, Rolling Stone
owns half of South by Southwest. Too,
well,
which is an interesting
and
find.
listen to this. Last month, they acquired a majority stake in Las Vegas's Life is Beautiful music festival. So Yeah, it's a lifestyle brand.
Rolling Stone Public? Or
No, it's owned by Penske.
I don't think so.
Private.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's owned by Penske Media.
A monthly print magazine still has a circulation of 500,000. Oh no, that was last year. It's currently 425,000. Digital audience 22 to 28 million monthly uniques. So very interesting.
Quite happy with those numbers.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And by the way, so I put this is a Sarah Fisher story from Axios. This morning when I was going through and putting stuff up here, Axios was just jammed this week with good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'd say.
It's funny. You can
Sarah
kind of
Fisher's very good there.
you can kind of tell when something clicks into gear. And yeah, I had a lot of Axios stories bookmarked as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a little break. You okay, John? I heard you moaning. Am I wrong?
It was his ambient
I heard it too.
board.
I heard,
I heard it too.
It's not me,
But he's
right?
smiling. He's
Okay,
smiling.
he's smiling.
He's
Okay.
good.
It's okay.
good.
I would love to get Burke. Is Burke out there? Every time I have an ad, poor Burke has to go find something for me. There's a box of clothing in my office, Burke, just inside the door on the right. That box of clothing. It's my Buck Masons. And I've been saving this. I've been dying to open it up because you like Buck Mason, right?
Yes.
I have some Buck Mason pants. They're not exactly sweats. They're casual pants. But they're heavier. I love them. My Buck Mason sweatshirt's the best made sweatshirt. Really good quality sweatshirt. It's an ad for Buck Mason.
We're in the ad now.
Okay,
yes.
sorry.
I know it's confusing.
As seen
But
there on the lower
clothes look
third
really
on the
neat,
screen.
Stacey. You might want to stick around for this one.
The words weren't there yet, Aunt. Okay, I'm sorry.
Look, we all have, I think you probably do too. You go to your closet and there's your favorite shirt, your favorite pants, your favorite jacket. And you just wear that till it falls apart.
No comment.
These are my Buck Masons now. I have a sweater. We were talking about this on an episode, The Sweater. It's the sweater. It's a beautiful cotton fisherman sweater. It's so gorgeous. The jeans, the shirts, it's the stuff you wear all the time. And it's increasingly, for me, it's Buck Mason. Grown and sewn in the U.S. I love that, right?
That's cool.
U.S. cotton, U.S. manufacture. Their clothes are timeless and very well made. I'll tell you what, a lot of times you get clothes and they're not so well made. These are going to last. It's good that these are your go-tos because they're going to last forever and they're timeless. They're not going to go out of style. They fit beautifully. Jeans, shirts, jackets, so much more. Is Burke's not here? Will somebody go in my office and get me my Buck Masons, please? I love the tailored look and fit of the t-shirts. Actually, quality t-shirts. A lot of times you get a t-shirt, they're just falling apart and cheap after 3 washings. Not Buck Mason. They look good and feel good at wash after wash. And they invented the curve hem tee. GQ called it the best t-shirt in the game. It's really nice. It's really nice. The fit, the finish, the quality. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. These are the navy versions of those green sweats I was talking about. And just because you got up and did that, I'm going to offer these to you. Would you like these?
Please and thank you.
Oh, shoot, he accepted. You know they're not going to fit your massive thighs.
No,
Look
but
at
I will
those.
try.
Yeah, try. Look at that. Doesn't that look
These
how
feel good,
look
too.
at the
They fit his
waistband.
arms.
Yeah, these
Oh,
might,
they
you can wear
feel
them.
good.
These are really well made.
Yes.
I'm kind of blown away by these. Here's okay. You can't have this though.
I'm thinking about the T-shirts. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
That's all I
really
wear.
well made. Quality. Yeah, you wear a lot of black T-shirts.
First thing I do is I always check the stitching in the inside.
Yeah, you can tell these are well made, and I love it that they're made in the U.S. This is the Derby Venice Wash Vintage Thermal Surplus Tee. And the thing is, it's going to wash and wash, and it's never going to wear. Oh, yeah, I wear these. This is, so when you were a kid, maybe you did this with your kids. I bet you, Jeff Jarvis is old enough. Did you have, when you got home from school, did your mom say, get out of your school clothes, get into your play clothes?
You would presume that I went out and did something kids would do and like play outside.
I'll save you.
didn't need to
Mama
do that to
Pruitt
watch
did
TV.
that all
Did
the
Mama
time.
Pruitt, she said, get out of your
Yeah,
school
you should have
clothes.
asked Aunt that question.
Because
yeah.
you have school clothes, right? But you're
Always.
going to go outside and play.
That's right.
Get in your play clothes. This is when I get home, I get out of the suit, and I get in them. Yeah, see, you got right there what I'm going to get into my play clothes.
Those are my work clothes you got in this hand.
Yeah, I know. You live in your
for
play
me.
clothes. Yeah.
These feel good.
Isn't that nice? All right, so we're going to.
They also have tall, by the way.
Oh yeah.
You can't have these back, sir.
You can. You know what? You can have them. It's okay. Seriously, if they fit you, take them. That's fine.
Thank you.
I'll get more because actually, I think I'm on my third or fourth order. I just keep getting more Buck Masons. BuckMason.com/twig. You'll get a free T-shirt with your first order. BuckMason. BuckMason.com/twig. Get that free T-shirt with your first order. But I don't even have to say, get something free or get a discount or anything because trust me, you will be so glad you get these shirts and you will love them and pants and jackets and jeans and everything that you're gonna be a Buck Mason. This is your go-to from now on, just like me.
And me.
Isn't that nice? Do you have
these feel so?
So I have the green ones of those. That's why I'm willing to let you have those. I love them. They're heavy. They're comfy.
They're going to look good on me.
They're going to look good on you.
As opposed to you, Leo.
I didn't say that, but you did.
They look good on me. They look good on me. You know what? It's nice they fit. It's hard for me to get clothes that fit because I'm fat.
Yeah.
It's hard for you to get
Oh,
clothes
they have
that fit.
women's clothes, y'all.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
they
I
do.
not mention that? Of course they do.
No.
Buck kind
I
of
was
implies
like,
it's a
blah,
guy's
blah,
for a
blah.
guy. Buck Mason.
They have leather jackets, too.
Let's see this.
It's actually great stuff. Now everybody's going to Buck Mason.
Yeah, now I'm looking.
BuckMason.com/twig. Thank you, Buck Mason.
Because now Queen Pruitt's going to be like, I want Buck Mason.
Aren't they nice? Look at this.
The women's clothes would work with you, Stacey. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice white jacket.
Because they're kind of classic, right? They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look chill.
I don't
They
like to
look
wear.
like things I already own.
Exactly. I'm telling you, this is from now on your kind of go-to style. Look at that. Okay. Maybe it's because I read Puck News now all the time. But what's going on with CNN, Warner, Discovery? What a mess and a half is going on over there.
It's almost as bad as AOL.
It's very much like that, isn't it? So
Warner is the jinx, obviously. It's been a mess after mess after mess.
So Discovery and Warner are meeting. They're merging. They're merging together. Warner is HBO and CNN. I mean, Warner is a big property. Discovery doesn't feel that big, but they own a lot of stuff too. And they're going to be running the show, right? Zaslav will be running the show.
Yeah, Zaslav's running the show. Yep.
So apparently, CNN, even though merger hasn't happened yet, but it's about to. I think May 1st, something like that. CNN started CNN Plus, even though Discovery didn't want them to. Discovery wanted them to. They wanted it to all be HBO Max, put everything HBO Max. CNN Plus, they were going to spend a huge amount of money over the next 3 years. Now they're starting to fire people.
Oh, boy.
This story from Axios, Scoop, Sarah Fisher, CNN Plus looks doomed. This is the streaming version. Merely 150,000 subscribers so far.
This is like Ant was talking about Agrawal. He's only been in the job 10 minutes. This thing's only been on the air 1 minute.
Yeah, because they put no news in it. I think that was part of the problem.
Yeah.
Part of the problem. Warner Brothers Discovery wants to eventually build one giant service around HBO Max. Zucker, of course, was fired at CNN. The new guy isn't in yet. CNN's original.
He just started.
He just started. Okay. CNN's original plan was for CNN Plus to become profitable in 4 years by investing $1 billion. But in order to become profitable, they were expecting millions of subscribers.
Let me ask you this: if CNN is the news arm of everything, and this is their premium platform, what else can they add to make this a viable option? What's the carrot that says, what?
It's a really good question.
You want us for news. Now pay us more for news.
And when way back when I helped start Epicurious, which had gourmet and bon appetit recipes, and all this stuff, and the pressure came around the year 2000 to say, well, can we also do subscriptions? Can we also get some money for the consumers? And Joan Feeney, who was the brilliant person who started it, sat there and brainstormed for hours trying to think of what is it we can invent that'll, on top of Epicurious already exists, people will pay for. And we came up with a million ideas. And finally, she just said, the gold is the recipes. You can charge for the recipes, or we don't charge.
Right.
And same for CNN.
Gold
the problem,
is the
of course,
news.
is
The news.
the MSOs won't let you sell it separately. These cable systems.
Okay.
So they've got nothing else. That's the crown jewels, and they got nothing else to sell, so they make it up. So Anderson Cooper talking about parenting. Oh, okay, that's cute, but maybe it's a YouTube video you watch once a year.
Right.
You know,
According to Fisher, CNN brought in $1 billion in profit last year. Most of that coming from distribution contracts with the cable operators. This is according to her two sources.
Yeah, that's where all the money is. That's where
That's
Fox
where the money
makes all this money. We think about trying to get ads off of Fox. Doesn't matter. It's all in the carry fees.
This was on the heels of already troubled CNN after the firing of Chris Cuomo, the firing of Jeff Zucker, which was probably related. Zucker, who was kind of beloved by the on-air staff at CNN and took off. He had turned CNN more, and you'll remember this during the last few years, more political. And I don't know if this has to do with his departure. As you say, the new guy, Chris Licht, isn't in position yet. But basically, all CNN does all day, all night is Ukraine war.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that, Jeff? Is that driving you nuts?
Oh, absolutely. Well, so it
it's
has
like there's
started off this
nothing
way.
else going on.
Yeah.
Like there's no
So-
COVID, there's no nothing.
Zaslav has talked about like
But
the hard
then
news
that's
and all this
also
other stuff.
politicized. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, just the other thing to say is Chris Licht, the new head, who last was at CBS running Colbert Show as an executive. He went on this week and he said, well, because I'm starting CNN, I'm going to quit Twitter, which of course drives me nutty. Okay, so you're going to stop talking to the public. Very good. So it's going to be this whole haughty, we're objective throwback kind of news that's not going to work well.
Well, right now it's war porn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bizarre, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I'm not that this isn't an important story. Of course it is. But there are other important stories in the country going on and
Well, the bottom
around
of
the
the
world.
It was the same during COVID. I mean, it was a very important story. People were dying. 1 million people are going to have died from this. But yes, it was to the exclusion of all other
That's
news
all they did.
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised CNN Plus is having trouble because there's no news.
Right.
It's really an interesting slow motion car wreck.
So, Ant, can you imagine anything that you would pay for from CNN that isn't the CNN itself feed?
Negative.
No,
I mean,
right.
if the people watching CNN, they could care less. At least this is my assumption. They could care less about behind the scenes stuff. They can care less about just sit downs with Anderson or whomever. That's not news related. They go to CNN for news. Period.
Here's the other problem. I searched Google for CNN plus sign. Doesn't come up.
Thing.
Yeah,
Showing
Google's
results
like,
for CNN.
right.
Google said, wait,
Yeah.
huh? That's a typo.
And I would say that, well, this is a big opportunity for CBSN, which is their streaming version, except that
cares?
Viacom Paramount's having the same kind of nutty, divisive, leaderless craziness, and with a merger, of course. And it feels like is this representative of some sort of illness in journalism and news?
Well, it's interesting. It fits into your first story, Leo, I think, which is it's media pivots to whatever the next Messiah is. So the next Messiah of late has been streaming. So everybody's got to have a streaming channel, right? And so they're all rushing to that. And CNN, hires Casey Hunt and hires what's his name, the news guy from Fox, the only respectable one,
Chris Wallace.
Thank you, Chris Wallace. And so they spend a fortune on this. We ought to have a streaming channel. Everybody's going to have a streaming channel. Well, what's happening to streaming? Streaming's saying, oh, hell, it's oversold. Netflix is losing. Oh, darn.
So where is the audience going? Is it YouTube? Is it TikTok?
It's a limited, well, it's people will spend only so much. They will subscribe to only so many things.
And there's so many
scarcity.
And there are so many sources of information and entertainment.
And so many opportunities to stream. Yeah. So there's competitors to Netflix now, and they're feeling it, right?
Yeah.
Netflix is also feeling the embers of the pandemic. There was a huge upswing during that, But yeah, there's plenty of things to stream. People are going back to work. There's less time to stream. Much of it isn't worth anything.
I think that's the main thing is there's only 24 hours in a day, and a lot of people are only going to give you, what's the analytic? They're going to give you 15 seconds guaranteed of their attention, and then they move on to the next thing.
People watch a lot of TV. I just want to throw that out there because I am always stunned because I don't really
hours
watch a lot
a
of
night,
TV.
4 or 5
but
hours.
It's ambient.
You watch hours.
It's a lot in the background.
Yeah, because exactly.
Yeah,
So I was
ambient.
going to say sometimes streaming, because it feels like TV, it's still not the lean back experience. It's much more purposeful. So things like Fox are a little different because you just turn it on and it just goes for hours. So it's a different.
We have the
It's
news
really a
on
different
sometimes
product if
when
you
we're
think about
when
it.
I'm making dinner, we're kind of getting together. The news will be on for a little bit just to kind of catch up on the day. But then usually we'll watch episodic television. We'll watch
Yeah, but
shows
you're
at night.
You're well off. There's whole homes where the TV's just on all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
And it's a different product for them.
Right.
I just
It's
I feel
wallpaper.
like we're talking about TV like it's this monolithic thing, but TV viewing habits are actually very different across different demographic
Yeah, that's
profiles
true.
and ages.
And ages, especially.
Meanwhile, Dean Basquet is about to exit the New York Times. And Basquet? I didn't know he was
Basquet.
so French. Mr.
It's
Basquet.
French,
It's
like
Weimar,
Joey-
not Weimar,
Joey,
just so you know.
Joey
I'd let it go
Baskets.
before.
Joey Baskets is leaving, and Joey Kahn is coming in as executive editor of the New York Times. I only bring this up just because I know Jeff likes to go on and on about this stuff. Anything to say? Is he a good guy?
Oh, he's a very smart guy. Very much an inside guy. Very quiet. I think that my friend Jay Rosen at New York University, who's brilliant on this stuff, was quoted by the Washington Post about this, and I think that it means more of the same. A.G. Sulzberger, who's now the publisher, having taken over from his father, is very quiet too. So they're peas of a pod. And Jay did a very good Twitter thread today talking when he was asked about what were the positive things of Basquet's reign, and there were many things. He really brought it into digital. He brought the subscriptions up hugely. He brought up investigations. He brought up the staff. But negatively, they still have not grappled with their role in the 2016 election. He dismisses listening to the public through Twitter or through any means. James Fallows just wrote a good piece I just saw where he said two things that Kahn should do. One, bring back the public editor.
Yes, that was a
They got
huge
rid of
mistake.
it and said, oh, Twitter is going to be a public editor, and then they've dismissed Twitter now, so they don't care about listening to the public.
No.
And two, have an honest reckoning with your role with the 2016 election, and don't do it again. But that's not where they are now. Jay also has a theory, which I think is very intriguing about the Times, which is when they went full on board with subscriptions as the primary means of support, it changed the newsroom so that the newsroom kind of has to prove it to their subscribers. Well, you don't own us. We're going to piss you off here and there. And I think that's what has led to a lot of the problems with the
that's
event page.
interesting. Oh, that's
and yeah, it really is. And we're gonna go talk to all those guys in the Ohio diner because we know you don't like that, but that's going to prove how independent and wonderful we are. And I think it's this idea that subscription markets are wonderful because we're finally in charge. Well, no, they're trying to suck up to you on the one hand and then prove they're independent from you on the other hand. And I think it's degraded the Times in some ways. I start my day now with the Washington Post, not with the New York Times. Unfortunately, though, I see the Washington Post going the same way.
The only reason I bring this all up is I feel like that we are rapidly heading into a situation in this world where news is going to become very, very important. It always has been. But I think a formed electorate is going to be vital to solve some of the problems we are going to face in the next decade or so.
We've got to rethink the fundamentally. I don't want to
The actual the vessel of news being the most important. Like, where are people going to get the news from? Seems like that's the main thing. Is it going to be?
Well,
the
it's
likes of
hard to
Twitter?
find reputable people in areas that you're not focused in. So you look for reputable outlets who can steer. Like, the idea behind a newspaper is that they hire people who know what they're doing, and you can pick a place and find those people. And that actually extends all the way to their opinion pages and voice. People read the Wall Street Journal for a certain worldview, and they read the New York Times or the Washington Post for a slightly different worldview. And I don't know.
Let us do a Google.
Wait. I had a.
Oh, you had an epiphany. I heard it, and I let it go.
That's okay. I mean,
Was it epiphany?
No, it was an
It was.
Oh,
The Atlantic had a great article, and I thought
Jonathan
about you,
Haidt's
Jeff.
Heights
Oh,
article.
no.
Yes.
I thought it was great. You didn't like it?
Oh, I hated it.
This is why I brought it up.
That grumpy face.
So Jonathan Haidt, who I've interviewed, we've had him on Triangulation, wrote I thought a very important book called Righteous Minds. He's a social psychologist.
Social psychology.
Yeah. And Righteous Minds was why we can't agree. And I think actually, as time has gone by, I think Haidt has maybe changed his tune a little bit. But his most recent article, which I think is what you're referring to, Stacey, is why the past 10 years of American life have been uniquely stupid. And it's not just a phase. And he blames social media.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Well, okay. Did you read the article, Jeff?
Yes, I did.
It was long. It was long.
It was really long, but there were lots
I also
of things
watched
in
him
there.
on Morning Joe this morning. Oh. And they drove me
So
nuts.
I
But
thought
go ahead.
that I'm trying to pull up the article, and for some reason I'm failing.
Hit the paywall.
I have it right here in front of me.
It's on the
So there
rundown.
was actually a section in there that actually picked your favorite point, which was all about how it has given voice to the disenfranchised.
Yes, he does.
And I thought that was good because that is an important acknowledgement. I thought that many of the points he brought up were right on, and I was actually kind of pissed that he spent so much time like educating us about this and like 5 paragraphs on like what to do about it. Mm-hmm. But I thought the idea of adding friction is what I wanted to talk to you about, Jeff, because I thought that was an interesting way to ensure that people still had the ability to share their points of view and reach people, but also that it became that you had to try a little harder
Had
to
to
do
work
so.
for it a little bit.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you specifically about adding friction to social media. So the one thing he mentioned was Frances, how do you say, is it Houghton?
Hagen.
Hagen.
Frances Hagen.
Her idea.
Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook,
Whistleblower.
basically saying, look, you can only cut and paste something, or you can only hit share and then you have to cut and paste to help slow the spread. And I was trying to think of things that might help on Twitter other than, cutting down on bots.
I just want to
get your opinion on that.
I don't think the solution is technology. I don't think it's UI. I don't think it's nudging. I think it's harder than that. Like it's much harder than that. And if I go back to Yashan Wong's thread, when he said in there, as I said, I think I quoted this already. That's right. That it doesn't matter what you say. It's the behavior, and the behavior is that people right now come on and they want to blow off and they want to go after each other. And the only way we're going to solve this is by having norms and institutions that we agree to as a society that say that that's unacceptable.
That's the problem.
And that's
You're not
harder
gonna get those agreements of
not now,
of
but I think in
humanity.
time we might. I think in time, but not
So,
now
but-
because it's people are trying to do this. So I just don't think there's any. I think that's a techno-determinist
Well, but he
solutionism.
also offers that as one of his solutions. One of his solutions was, helping educate kids.
So
no,
the kids are not the problem. It's the old farts who are the problem. And there's research to this. Right there in his own university,
Yes.
Josh Tucker, he should have looked up because Josh Tucker has good research on this, that this presumption, there's a lot of presumptions in this piece. One of them is, the kids and the echo chambers and all that.
I don't
and
think
the other
he's
thing is he does
focusing
a
on the kids
nostalgia.
because they're sharing the problems. I think he's focusing on the kids because you can actually change kids.
Inoculate
We're not
them.
going to change my parents.
Yeah.
They're smarter
I
than
mean, I love them, but
He says prepare the next generation. His point, if I could put it in a nutshell, is that not that Twitter and tweets and social media sharings are, so dangerous in and of themselves, but they are a million, it's death by 1,000 cuts. There are a million blows. And what has happened as a result is that people are so sensitive to what, and you are too, Jeff. I mean, look at all the attention you got look how much you were beaten down for your tweet.
No, I wasn't.
Last week. Well, they attempted to. They
attempted to, but I laughed.
But what happens? It may not have affected you, but what happens is
as Stacey points out, I'm a privileged white cis
what he's saying is
old male.
The country,
yes,
and I think this has always been the conventional wisdom, tends to be centrist, and then there's a left wing and a right wing. But what all of these little darts have done is pushed basically empowered the extreme and shot down anybody in the middle. He's kind of always been saying, this is also part of his earlier book, but so that the extremes have an outsized voice now, both on the left and the right, and outsized power. I think that's true,
I
right?
can agree to that. I'm someone that tends to be caught in the middle.
You're a centrist, for sure.
I'm always caught in the middle, and I get yelled at all the time because I don't lean one particular way or another regarding whatever social activity or political activity we're having. Yeah,
Precisely.
I totally agree with that.
So this morning, he was on Morning Joe, and they had Eddie Glaude Jr., who I think the world of, who's the head of the African American Studies program at Princeton, on at the same time to act as a ballast. They basically gave Glaude no time to talk at all, and I was enraged afterwards, and I tweeted about it. And it was a microcosm for what's happening. What we had was in Joe and Haidt, there were two white men complaining about saying that, people in our classrooms don't feel like they can talk, and we're being shut up, when they wouldn't listen to the black man who was there trying to say to them, and who said to them, you talk, Haidt, about extreme right and extreme left. Who's the extreme left you're talking about in this balance here? Yeah. Are you trying to say people who are fighting for justice are this extreme left? Who is this extreme left? And it ignored, it was a microcosm of the world we have where what's going on here. We've talked about this show plenty of times, and I've quoted this tweet from Regina Rini, a professor in Canada, that says it's at the one hand it's the people who want to change the rules because they can finally have a seat at the table to say, I've had to live by your rules all this time, but now I'm going to tell you this is how you should treat me as a trans person, for example. And no, I don't want you to say that about me. And then the people on the other side, Rini calls them the status quo warriors, say, well, don't criticize me, don't tell me what to do, because they still want to hold on to the power they had. Yeah. This is all a process of renegotiating norms as a society. The worst part about Haidt's piece is he acts as if this time is unique. Try the Reformation, bud, in the 30 Years' War. There's plenty of times before where technology has caused changes. It is an exception, a chronological exceptionalism to think that we're so special now. We're not. It was historically.
So are you saying there's no issue, there's no problem?
No, not at all. I'm saying that there are plenty of problems, and I'm saying the problems are a lot harder than he lets on, and the problems are us. The problems are that, and this is what Eddie Glaude was trying to say today to them, is that we are deciding who we are as America, to speak as an American thing here. We're deciding who we are, and there are people who are resenting that there are more people having their voice and choice in that, and that's the essence of what's going on here. That's the basis of January 6th. That's the basis of Charlottesville, and don't cancel us and don't replace us. Let's admit that. Let's discuss that out loud instead of saying, oh, it's social media's fault. They made us worse suddenly. No, we've been a racist country for 400 years, and it's coming to roost. And so on Twitter today, I said what's really going on here is that what he's ignoring is, as far as I'm concerned, Black Lives Matter is the Reformation, and media are in the counter-Reformation. And Andre Brock Jr., who wrote the book I so admire called Distributed Blackness, said, ooh, I like that construct back in Twitter. And what we're seeing is a point-counterpoint that goes on at these moments of change in society. Yes, we're at a big moment of change, but we've got to grapple with our underlying problems, and we're not doing that.
I still
since you asked, I wasn't going to go into this. Since you asked,
of having some friction, as Miss Stacey mentioned.
I think that's a solutionism, technological solutionism that doesn't get to the core problem whatsoever.
Well, no, I'm just saying, just in the simplest form, having a little bit of friction to make you breathe a second before you hit send. I
think it's paternalistic. I think that's saying, like today, I did want to tweet directly while it was happening in the show.
Yeah.
And no, somebody decides that no, that's not good for you. You shouldn't do that. That's a paternalistic and techno solutionism way. That I don't think solves the problem whatsoever.
I have to say, Jeff, to me it feels a little bit like you're the guy, you're in the middle of it, and you love it. You love the engagement, the hurly-burly, and somebody like Ant, and probably because you're black, you are not allowed to be centrist. You have to go to the far left.
I am the black man that's either not black enough or I'm too black.
Yeah, exactly.
I live right in the middle of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I think the vast majority of people are kind of in that middle in one way or the other. I think that's more the American state than anything else. And yet so all of this so-called polarization is really this battle between these people on your side, Jeff, the extreme left and the extreme right. Mm-hmm. But there is I think it's not
right there. You're making an equivalency.
No, but wait. There is a vast majority of people like Ant in the middle who are looking to the left, looking to the right, and saying, this doesn't reflect me. This is a battle that is not reflective of my experience.
That's right. 100%.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, 100%. 100%.
So I can kind of understand that. And I think that people like you, Jeff, who are in the hurly-burly of it, think that that's all that there is.
You're making presumptions here. No, not at all. Believe me, there's tons of people on the left who think I'm way too conservative. I defend capitalism. I defend these companies.
So you get it too?
I get it too. Absolutely.
You got it this week.
Absolutely. I get it all the time.
Not from the left, but he got it.
And I don't want it. I want to have discussions. I'm trying to write an academic book. What I love is having a discussion with people about this.
Honest. How can we get to the Google change log?
There's a nudge. There's a little friction
without
for
breaking
you.
anybody's.
That was lovely. I didn't mean to start this. This is actually the sort of thing.
I wasn't going to go there, Stacey. I wasn't going to go there. I appreciate you asking.
I thought it was. I was trying to engage you since normally I tune out all of this stuff. That was a mistake.
So now you know why.
Chips. I know.
She's like, I'm done with this.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
The Google change law.
Now we can't find the button.
On that note.
There we go.
The Google change log.
I'm going to rip through this because I don't care one bit
There's
about it.
There's not much here. There is
Google search on desktop tests redesign that puts images, video, and more to the left. Jeff,
wow.
To the left.
The left.
It's your fault, sir.
Yeah.
I blame you. Google now is getting an upgrade to nearby share where you don't this makes me very nervous. You don't actually have to say okay. If you're in the
share to your own computer.
You share to your own computer, which I think is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But it does also make me a little nervous that there's no okay. You can actually, with AirDrop on Apple, turn that on, I think, so it happens automatically. So I guess that's just parody.
Yeah, it's catching up.
Yeah,
it's catching up.
Yeah.
Nearby share, it's called. And I think it's moving Google closer to something Apple calls universal control, where you can actually kind of control all the devices from any one of them. So interesting. We'll watch. There was another 0 day in Chrome. This is the third emergency fix this year. 2 vulnerabilities actually in the Chrome web browser, but one of them is a 0 day already exploited in the wild. Get your update to your Google Chrome. It's a high severity 0 day bug actively abused by attackers. Steve Gibson talked about it yesterday on security. Now, if you want more details.
Hey, can I ask you a question about that?
Mm-hmm.
So when I go looking for the show and I look up Google News, every time these kinds of things happen, a whole bunch of, it used to be like just the New York Post, and then it was, your Knight Ridder paper, and now it's even the technology publications, the CNETs, you must uninstall this immediately, emergency.
It's
going crazy.
Clickbait. It's usually
it's all it is, right? There's no, this is not, I mean, yes, you should update, but it's not a big deal, right?
Editors.
And you get updated automatically, so yeah, I wouldn't worry. But there are a lot of security flaws. We seem to be finding a lot of Microsoft patched 238 flaws a week ago. So there are a lot of security flaus out there. And
I think
really,
there's more attention on it. And there's also more, more people looking, but also we're recognizing, and there's much more government paying attention and stockholders paying attention to, oh, crap, this is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we should pay attention to it. We should, but it's not hair on fire.
It's not getting worse or anything.
It might be. I mean, we also got to be aware that, with the war in Ukraine, Russia
we
is
basically
very much.
started looking for things and found
That's right.
Is kind of what I feel like. And we've been talking about it for a while, and we've been building things that are going to be better. But until that actually starts happening, we're kind of hosed.
Well, the positive
Well,
side.
and our friend Craig Newmark, just last week we talked about he's giving $50 million to worry about our cybersecurity. So
the positive slant on this is we are finding and fixing them.
Yeah.
I think that's really the truth, and that's there.
As they should.
You could say we're going to do better, but we're not going to do better. There's always going to be bugs. Software it's just inherent in the process. So we're getting better at finding them, and we're fixing them, which is good. So update your Chrome if it's not updated already. Google is rolling out new badges for Chrome extensions, which will help you avoid the bad extensions. Why don't they just get rid of the bad?
I was wondering.
Yes.
That's why I put that in here.
You know they're bad. Dump them. You don't get it.
I guess it's the ones they can really verify are good.
Yeah. So Google is now using a manual process to evaluate extensions for an enjoyable and intuitive experience. They're also making sure under the hood developers are using the latest APIs, and they're looking at extension privacy practices and permissions. And then if you do it all well, you will get a prize ribbon identifying you as a featured extension. It says, created by the owner of a listed website, publisher has a good record, no history of violations. It meets a high standard of user experience and design.
They should end that with comma yet.
Yeah. Well, that's actually not a joke, because sometimes these extensions get sold. They're very popular. They're very safe. And then the new owner does all sorts of nefarious things. So there are going to be two badges, one with a checkmark design for verified identity, and another badge that looks like a prize ribbon for best practices. Look for those in the extension store. Are you ready for your free Titan security key? If you are a Google One 2 terabyte subscriber, top of the line, best number one, you're going to get a free Titan security key to be eligible.
Which otherwise costs what?
I don't know. $35. That's something.
All right. Better than
something. Thing is, you can't really. You shouldn't.
With a.
I gotta say,
sound too excited.
I gotta point this out. You shouldn't really just have one. You should always have two. One you use, you carry around, and one you keep somewhere safe in case you lose the first one. I'm just saying. So, anyway, these are nice USB-A or USB-C NFC enabled Titan security keys. It has a built-in keychain loop. Good way to get you started. I think I have a 2 terabyte.
That sounds like a one of those cheap TV commercials. And with a chain for your the loop for your keys.
But you do
now,
look,
and we'll cut a hole in it.
I keep my security key. It's not a Titan. It's a YubiKey,
right?
On my keychain right there, so I can log into things.
My problem is I don't always carry my keys around. That's my problem.
Well,
you don't carry?
You should get locked out more often than you would.
Well, I mean, I'm in my home.
How do you get into the office?
No, I'm saying like right now, I actually have my key in my pocket because I had to go to the toilet before we started the show.
Right.
But any other time, my key is normally in the post office.
Right.
But you walk around.
I keep them in my pocket
all the time.
Well, that's honestly one of the benefits. There are 2 benefits to wearing a suit jacket like I do, a blazer. One is it hides your girth. The other is it's got multiple pockets for storing. It's slimming, and they're like Captain Kangaroo. You got lots of pockets, and you can carry all sorts of stuff. Highly recommended. You probably can't buy jackets that fit you, though, I bet.
I can't.
It'd be like
it just
the Hulk.
costs a lot.
You go like this, and it splits down the back. Right?
I can't. It just costs a lot.
Mad.
Long arms, wide shoulders.
Google is rolling out conversation magnet tool. No, conversion.
You're having a problem today.
Conversion.
You didn't do it in the right voice. That's why.
Google rolling out conversion migration tools for Google Analytics 4. You can use this tool to import your usual. You know why I can't read this? You know why? Because it's. Okay, thank you very much. And that's.
Play the drums. Play the drums, John.
Google.
Get us out of this.
Well,
change log.
Well, look here, Mr. Howell. I guess I owe you a beer because he did read it
Oh, did you bet that I wouldn't read it?
Yes, I put that in the change log.
Do you want to defend it? Do you want to say what it's all about?
No, I just put it in there because it is a change, but I had no interest in it either.
Conversion migration tool for Google Analytics 4.
But we did have a side bet here. In
That
the
may
host
be the
office.
most boring thing ever in the change log. Ever.
Wow.
Mr. Howell, I owe you a beer. He did read it.
I wish now to take you, ladies and gentlemen, to Poundtown. Are you ready to buy a $420,000 home in Onalaska, Wisconsin? Look at this lovely home. The owner has a little bit of a predilection for signs. There's the American flag. There's a welcome sign on the door. Go inside. There's another welcome sign in the mudroom. Our nest pillow. Over the kitchen sink. The kitchen is for dancing.
Where is the bread? I forget.
Bread goes in the
sign, honey.
By the way, I want to know where I can get this microwave. What is this super wide microwave for
What is that?
Brontosaurus legs? I don't know what the hell. That is weird. Eat on a little pizza peel
What
that
are we
you
supposed
must
to do here?
never
Oh, right.
use for a pizza. But the best part is in the bedroom, ladies and gentlemen, where you will be welcomed to Poundtown.
I cannot. I think they put that there just so
They
it would
did.
go viral.
You want to hear the story? So this is great. This is from the Zillow Gone Wild Twitter account that lists, interesting home listings, which there are many. But then the story came out, and this is in Mel Magazine. Laura Hagenbarth and her husband flip homes. When she listed her family's rural Wisconsin home for sale online on Friday, she hoped the spacious bedrooms, vast plot of land, and freshly refurbished decor would catch the eye of a few potential buyers. Never, in her wildest dreams, would she have guessed her house would land on Zillow Gone Wild, mainly because of the "Welcome to the Poundtown" sign. I never in my life. She should sound like, I never in my life thought I'd go viral for anything.
Oh, Midwestern mom.
I don't even use Twitter, no. And my home is trending there today like, what the heck? That's an actual quote. They began buying and flipping houses in 2013. The house in Onalaska, Wisconsin, she lovingly refers to as the Poundtown house, is their fourth. I've always loved... She actually should be more, yeah, sure, you betcha. I've always loved decorating and design. I just kind of started winging it,
That's more Minnesota.
When we started flipping homes, since we do
Minnesota.
most of the work ourselves, they talk like that in Wisconsin, too. Yeah. Born from that penchant for interior decor and design, Hagenbarth started a small online shop, Sleepless Beauty Designs, to sell her DIY signs and decorations, which helps to explain why there are
She makes them?
She makes them. There are a few walls in the house that aren't.
Poundtown is one that she makes.
She made it.
Did she know
She's gonna
was?
sell a fortune
Yes.
in them.
People are saying I went overboard with the signs and I need to lay off Michael's, even though I never go to Michael's. If I go to a store, it's Hobby Lobby or TJ Maxx, but I mainly make my own signs. To be sure.
Well, so go to eBay and search for Poundtown.
Yeah.
It's already starting to populate.
Oh, yeah. She says, I saw the original Poundtown sign in a group on Facebook and was, yeah, I love that. I need to make it. For some reason, Mel Magazine then goes on to say, for the sake of clarification, Poundtown is a euphemism for sexual intercourse. And the sign welcomes visitors to the place where that happens. I wanted to make it look like just another cheesy decor sign, and then once you read it, bam, raunchy and hilarious. She created.
I like this lady.
I know, don't you love her? She created the sign while her husband was gone so she could surprise him when he returned. He absolutely loved it. It matches our humor to a T. Plus, 2 out of 3 of our kids can't read. And when our oldest read it while I was making it, I just told her it was a funny quote from a movie, and she never asked about it again. There's the story of Welcome to Poundtown. I think we have a show title.
I like what Zeph
Isn't that great?
put in the chat.
What does Zeph say?
Delightfully Delightfully prurient.
Yes, delightfully prurient. There is a vodka made out of carbon dioxide, which is going to save the planet.
Save the earth and get drunk.
Yeah.
And then go to Poundtown.
Yeah, and go to Poundtown. It's from a company called the Air Company. They sell vodka, hand sanitizer, and perfume made out of CO2 pulled out of the air. Wait a minute, is this right? The company claims it's the world's leading carbon technology company. It creates carbon negative alcohols and consumer products from CO2. They just raised $30 million in Series A funding. Here's the machine: from air and water to alcohol in a number of steps through a fancy looking machine. Wow. All right, so there's a machine. If you want to buy the vodka, it's called Air CO. I don't know.
I forgot to look up.
Fancy box. Should we go to the Air Company and buy some? Aircompany.com. We make products from air. And then it says we use cookies to ensure. Welcome to the future. All right. Here's the sanitizer, air sanitizer. That's the technology. Where do I buy the vodka? Yeah, they don't.
Products on the bottom.
Products. Okay.
Perfume, air vodka. There it is. Okay, shop now.
Shop now. Should I? Amy Webb sent me some Glyph whiskey.
That's right. I was supposed to try that.
You haven't tried it yet? Go get it. It's in the cabinet over the refrigerator.
Okay.
I think you should try it on the show.
Okay.
Might as well, right?
Sure, why not?
She sent us this whiskey that's also made completely synthetically to simulate the aging and stuff. So, by the way, this vodka is gluten-free. You can get it from
$55 to $79.
Oh, that's not, that's a little pricey, isn't it?
A little pricey.
But that,
40% alcohol by volume, is that what vodka is?
Yeah, it's 80 proof, yeah.
Okay.
It's, it's interesting. I wonder what it tastes like. It tastes like Brooklyn. All right, so it's bottled in Brooklyn. So this is Glyph. Amy Webb, somebody's been drinking the Glyph. Amy Webb sent it to us. Spirit whiskey with natural flavors. Shall I pour you a fingerful?
Maybe.
Do you drink it neat?
Maybe a half finger, considering what I've heard. That's plenty.
That it's not very good.
Well, I don't want to look a gift whiskey in the mouth, but I don't know. See, this is why I want an ant to try it, because he knows his whiskey.
What makes it special?
It's made completely synthetically. It's not aged. They do all of the aging to make it's making a bourbon. Yeah, in the lab.
Bourbon or a Scotch?
It's a bourbon.
Bourbon.
14 awards, Platinum Award at the 2020 SIP competition.
This doesn't smell good, sir.
It doesn't smell good, does it?
A bourbon must smell good. That's the whole point of a bourbon.
It smells chemically. Chemical.
Oh, the face. That's all you need to know.
Whiskeys owe their flavor, aroma, and mouthfeel to hundreds, sometimes thousands of molecules developed during the distillation barrel aging. To make Glyph, we source these molecules directly from plants and yeasts rather than obtaining them through distilling and aging. So essentially, they're able to produce whiskey with 94% less water, 92% less agricultural land use, and they emit 87% less CO2 emissions. And I know that's what you're looking for in a good whiskey.
Oh, boy.
Is there any leftover lunch so that Ant can get the taste out of his mouth?
Oh, boy, that's bad.
Okay, that was my thought when I drank it. It tastes like Cheracol D. It tastes like a cough syrup.
Oh, man.
First, we create a profile of our desired spirit, its precise flavor, aroma, and mouthfeel, and identify the constellation of molecules responsible for these characteristics.
I appreciate the effort, but...
Yeah, they're trying to,
Man,
some things you don't need to change.
Oh, boy, that's bad.
Tastes like Dog Patch, the neighborhood in San Francisco where it's made. Isn't that interesting?
They have great pizza in Dog Patch.
Oh, they do.
Maybe if I had an ice cube in it, that would have helped it, but that...
How would you describe it?
It's almost like it wanted to have a bit of a licorice taste to it, but it's so much more medicine-y, like,
there's some weird floral thing going on in it.
Oh man.
It's not bad if you don't say, "Oh, is this going to taste like Jack Daniels?" It's just
No,
it's
I wasn't even thinking that. I just went in blindly. That's why you
Bert.
smell it. And
it does taste a little like A&W root beer.
no, I don't want that either. Root beer's horrible.
Okay, well, if you don't like root beer, I don't know if I'm going to trust you.
Yeah, maybe with an ice cube it would be a little bit better, but that was hard. It tasted like
watching.
Well, it's just not for me. But I appreciate the effort that they put into this.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe they just need to go a little farther. I don't know. All right, let's take our final break. That is not our pick of the week.
No.
But we will get to our picks of the week.
I'm used to drinking something that was filtered through a 4-barrel carburetor.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know what? If you ran out of gas, you might be set. Sorry?
Yeah. The center cam. Have you looked at the center cam?
No. What is this? I'm going to look at it right now.
Cam?
The center
177. I wonder if you
dot
recommend this for
com.
I haven't seen this.
So we don't look as
Captivate
shifty?
your audience. It's the world's middle screen webcam. So it's in the middle of your screen?
So that you're looking at right at.
Oh, that's
what
an
you're looking
interesting idea.
Oh,
So it hangs over from your screen.
That's fine, but what if you're trying to do
with its own
work?
little ring light.
Yeah, it's got its own little ring light. That's cute. That's not going to give you much brightness, is it?
No, not that.
No.
But what if you're someone that's actually trying to do work during said Zoom call or what have you on a laptop?
What if you're trying to be on Twitter while you're also recording a...
I don't like that. I think laptop cameras are fine where they are at the top of the screen as long as you just look at it.
And are we all used to people looking below us?
Well, you don't look. You're not looking below us. Or what are you looking at, Jeff?
I do. People yell at me all the time.
You're looking down.
I never look at the camera.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think we don't want people to look at the camera.
I can't say that.
It's a little creepy if I start doing the show and I'm really boring into your eyes and looking at you. Don't you think that's a little bit creepy?
You're supposed to look at our foreheads, Leo.
Even when I did TV, and I think I was pretty good at connecting with the audience, I would always glance away because I don't think people want you to stare at them.
Well, yeah, every now and then.
I would always.
Away. Yeah, because you look robotic otherwise.
Yeah, well, you don't. It's like
you look weird.
But you could. You can use it as punctuation where you go. I really want to tell you something.
Yes, right.
And then it's punctuation.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to do the whole time you're talking into the camera. I'll have to watch some news.
That's why you have B-roll.
Yeah, that's true. But I think Anderson Cooper might look into the camera. I don't know.
I need water.
Let's all stare.
Let's go to the ads so we can get our waffles.
Our show today.
One eye goes a little to the other.
I'm cross-eyed. Don't bring it up.
Oh, sorry.
That's see again. I'm handicapped, and you should not mock it.
I don't mock it. I was saying that with.
Yeah, no, I have a. When I was a kid, it was funny. I remember going to the doctor. I remember this vividly. I must have been in 7, 8, and the doctor's talking to my mom, and he says, "Well, one eye turns in a little bit. It's not like he's going to be on TV or anything." I swear to God. That's what the doctor said, and I don't know if that had anything to do with anything.
Best doctor ever.
But yeah, it's amblyopia. I had a little bit of a lazy eye. My daughter had it too. When she was little, she had to wear a patch. Poor little kid, and then special glasses, and it's been corrected. And had my parents done that, but they thought he's not going to be on TV. So. Our show today brought to you by Blue Land. I am on a crusade. I really am to eliminate, and Lisa and I are together on this, eliminate single-use plastics. I feel like there's a few things we can do in our lives to make the world a better place. I see the plastic patch in the middle of the ocean. I see turtles and sea animals die from plastics. We now have plastics in our lungs, in our bloods. We have microplastics. And it uses oil. It's a bad thing. So I'm going to, I don't carry plastic bags to the grocery store. We have shopping bags. We try to eliminate plastics everywhere. There is one place in our lives, it's hard to eliminate plastics. That's in the cleaning things we use, the cleaning products we use. But I have to tell you, an estimated 5 billion plastic hand soap and cleaning bottles are thrown away in America every year. 5 billion thrown away. And if that weren't bad enough, most of those bottles were filled with 90% water when they were delivered to the store in a big truck. They're shipping water around in these. Blue Land has figured out a way to win for everybody. Stop wasting water. Stop throwing out more plastic. Get Blue Land's revolutionary refill cleaning system instead. Blue Land was founded on the belief that a cleaner planet starts by eliminating plastic waste while creating powerful, effective cleaners in your entire home. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, I've tried those eco-friendly cleaners. They don't work. No, these work. These are great. This is an example. This is a Blue Land Forever bottle. This is it says on it, multi-surface. It's a beautiful bottle. It's about $10 when you buy the kit. You don't throw it away. When you use it up, you fill it up with warm water up to the line, and you drop in a tablet. And it dissolves, and it makes a great cleaning solution. They've got multi-surface cleaner. They've got dishwashing soap. They've got hand dishwashing soap. They've got dishwashing machine soap. They've got toilet cleaner. Those tablets are great, by the way. You throw them in. You don't need a bottle for that. You throw it in the toilet. It's incredible. I have the hand soap everywhere in the house. We even have it at work now. Did you see that I put some in? And it smells great. And then when you run low, you don't throw this out. You don't get a new bottle. You just get a tablet. They have a replenishment service if you want, or you can just order them on demand as you need them. They have wonderful scents. Iris agave, that's what's in the bathroom, the men's room right now. Perrine lemon, lavender, eucalyptus. They have unscented products as well if you don't want scents. We wash all our laundry in it. We do our dishwashing in it. No more plastic bottles for us, and it feels good. And you're not sacrificing anything. They're effective. So just discard that outdated idea that eco-friendly products are more expensive and less effective. You're going to save money. These tablets, money-saving refill tablets, start at just $2 each. So this is an incredible money saver, earth saver, and you're going to love it. Plastic-free laundry and dishwasher tablets. The toilet tablet cleaner, it sells out. Get it. It's back in stock. I am a huge fan. Just fill these beautiful Instagrammable bottles with warm water, pop in one of the hand soap or spray cleaner tablets, and within minutes you have a powerful cleaning product that smells great, works great, and is earth-friendly. I think in every respect, this is a win all around. Try Blue Land today. You're going to love it. Your planet will thank you. Your kids will say, wow, it smells good in here. And they'll wash their hands more. I swear to you. I love the foaming hand soap. I've got it. Like I said, it's in everywhere now. Even in the men's room. We got to get one for the ladies. Right now, you get 20% off your first order when you go to blueland.com/TWIG. Blueland.com/twig. This is a great housewarming gift. When my daughter moved into her new apartment, I set her up with the Blue Land. She's got Blue Land everywhere. It's wonderful. Blueland.com/twig. You know, every plastic bottle ever made is still sitting there in the landfill. They don't degrade. They don't go away. They're just sitting there.
Scary.
Billions of them. Let's stop that, right? Right now, you can get 20% off your first order when you go to blueland.com/twig. Blueland.com/twig. This is an advertiser I love. I can really get behind. All right, Stacy, you said you were going to help Insteon users find a better solution. Yes, if you go to
Stacy on AOT, I have a link for y'all. This is a bunch of options. So the best way to go is this is every single option available for you today. Many of which are actually things we haven't tried to move it over because we don't have a non-working Insteon hub, either of us. Mm-hmm. Kevin actually used to have one, but he shut it down years ago.
So you're talking about hooves, which is, or
Hooves,
Habitat,
Home
Hooves?
Assistant,
Yeah.
OpenHab,
Okay.
all of these. So basically, we cover the gear that you need. The instruction, we link directly to the instructions from the most reputable version of those instructions.
There's even an Insteon compatible product called HomeSeer. That's interesting.
Yeah, HomeSeer, yeah. And so basically, a lot of options available to you, differing costs, different, capabilities. But personally, I would, okay. Sorry.
She's boring herself.
Usually she yawns when I'm talking.
That's a first.
Jeez, yeah.
I don't know what happened there. Huh.
Would you like some glyph?
No. I need food and water, I guess. Anyway, I would say I know there's lots of people who are like, we're going to get the code and we're going to set it back up. I'm like, y'all, it's done. It is done.
Yeah.
Just stop buying more.
It would be
I would not
nice
invest.
if somebody put out a press release saying that instead of just disappearing. That's bizarre.
Yeah, it would be nice. And we'll wait for that. Or
But-
maybe they could file for bankruptcy.
Yeah,
in the
something,
meantime,
anything. Let us know.
I'm keeping an eye open. I'll let y'all know.
It's the front page of Stacy on IoT.com. And if you ever needed a reason to go there, now you've got it. What a wonderful thing you're doing over there. That's good. Thank you, Stacy. Mr. Jeff Jarvis, welcome to Poundtown. I want you to get that sign.
I saw on eBay they have a mayor of Poundtown t-shirt. I think that's more me.
I might get that for our bedroom. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, so there's a whole bunch of numbers, but I'm going to go to one.
Pick one, any one you want. Yeah.
Well, we can just go through them real quickly, like
Okay.
you go through the changelog.
Yeah, good.
Jassie's letter to shareholders says that Amazon now employs 260,000 drivers worldwide.
Wow. That's amazing.
I said earlier the digital advertising is going down. It's up 35% according to the Interactive Advertising Bureau. Digital video is up 50%. Digital audio is the biggest winner, up 57%.
Podcasts.
All of that, yes.
Podcasts.
Then there's a survey of teenagers. Now I'm forgetting who did it.
Piper Sandler. Yeah.
26% of teens own a VR device, but only 5% use them daily, and 48% are not terribly interested in the metaverse. Then TikTok is now the fave among the teens, the teen people, the teeners.
The Utes.
At 33%, finally beating Snapchat at 31%.
Oh, interesting.
However, I'm going to go to an important number now because it's something I didn't know. Maybe you all knew this and I just didn't know this, but there is not enough knowledge to this. Do you know what happens if you dial the number 988 on their phone?
No.
It is suicide hotline.
Oh, that's good to know. That's not necessary.
that's new.
That's new, first of all, and it's not. I don't think it's there yet.
Not fully there yet?
Yeah, but that is
Oh, okay.
why. Remember, we talked about this. Many people are going to have to dial 10-digit numbers, where in the past they didn't have to,
Right.
because of this new 988. Let me see the exact dates.
Phone providers are required to route them.
Yeah.
And text messages to 988.
Yeah, this is very, very
by July
important.
16.
There you go. It's not nationwide
The
yet.
Trevor Project has done a poll and said that 69% of respondents had not seen, heard, or read much about this. So getting the word out is critically important.
Actually, let me correct you. Oh, yes, you're right. By July 16th, 988 will route calls to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So this has to happen by July 15th. Okay. All providers must complete this process. All right, good.
I had not heard it. I didn't know.
Yeah, brand new, and that is really important. And thank you. I thought you were going to talk about Chipotle.
Well, that is an interesting number. Is it not?
It is.
Go ahead.
Chick-fil-A, number one restaurant among the youth. But Chipotle, which is number 3, gained 300 BPS of share. What's that? BPs?
Bits per second?
Bits per
What is it?
Beeps.
Basis points.
Basis points to 8%. Starbucks, number 2 at 11%. So among the youngs, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, Chipotle.
What's also interesting, if you saw this on the rundown, I put in there, Chipotle has started a $50 million VC fund.
Ooh.
I guess for new kinds of beans. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, really? Huh. Huh. And that's the numbers of the week. Thank you, Jeff. We could do a bunch of numbers every week. I don't mind that. I think it's
Oh yeah, more work for me. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Jarvis, that Amazon number about the drivers, what was that again?
That's 260,000 drivers around the world. It's in Jassie's. It's under the Amazon section. It's in Jassie's shareholder letter.
Question for you. Do you think that's enough because of the whole work conditions narrative that we hear from all of the drivers struggling to make the deliveries on time?
It's a good question, man. I mean, I was just thinking about it. I mean, how long has it been since we've gotten an Amazon delivery from UPS or the mail?
Yeah, it's been a while,
right? They've managed to take it over in a way that who thought it was possible? I mean, there's these areas where I thought too small. Like nobody's going to be able to map every street in the country. That's ridiculous.
It's fine that they're taking over, but at what cost, though?
Well, I think there is a cost, not just to the humans, but also to the roads. I will get sometimes 3 or 4 deliveries from 3 or 4 different trucks in one day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that means there's way too many trucks out and about.
That's you.
Yeah. That's me.
That's you.
My
Let me try to buy that
driveway
vodka.
is a gravel driveway, and it is suffering.
Yeah, right? We have a neighbor that gets so many Amazon deliveries, they put a giant metal box outside with instructions and a number code, and it says, put the Amazon packages in here.
Wow.
And even then, many's the day where obviously the box is full and it's piled high with Amazon packages.
So and I think a couple things. I think that unionization at Amazon, like Starbucks, is gonna spread. No question about it. It's going to need to, even though they pay more than everybody else, and they've raised the rates, they've raised the salaries of people on hourly wages across industries. It's part of the reason that we have inflation right now. But it's a good thing because it's a redistribution of wealth, and it should happen. So Amazon has done that well. But yes, the work conditions are difficult. They also, another story today is they hired. Former Attorney General. Which one?
The lady.
Yeah, Loretta Lynch.
Lorena Bobbitt. Lynch. That's right. Yes,
Loretta Lynch. To do a
now you know how my
race.
mind works.
Yes, we do. We do. That's why we're trying to talk over you.
Not Lorena Bobbitt. Loretta Lynch, of course.
Good Lord, man.
Stacy just stares at the camera.
She says, "I'm so sorry I'm here. So sorry."
So anyway, they're going to conduct a racial equity audit at Amazon. So I think they're going to have to change at the company, and not a bad thing.
Somebody in the chat room many in the chat room pointing out, I could, if I weren't so greedy, set my Amazon deliveries to all come on a single day.
Same day, yeah.
Yes, you could.
Would that eliminate all those trucks?
That's
would I get 8
Save
trucks
the
on the
Earth?
same day?
Isn't that part of the whole
try
Save the Earth message?
Yeah, I'll try it. You're absolutely right. I should do that.
It is true. Sometimes because we have ours set to go in the same day, but sometimes we do get multiple Amazon trucks at our house at the same time. So, but it can help.
Yeah, I'll turn that on.
All right, let's go.
But you think about it. We all drove to 5 different stores.
Waffle time.
5 o'clock stop.
Waffle time. It is first, though, before waffle time, Aunt Pruitt's turn for his picks of the week.
All right. Quickly, first off, Monday, Blackmagic Design announced a bunch of new updates, cloud support, a whole lot of different hardware, a lot of stuff that I'm not going to necessarily
NAB is coming
need.
this week, so they got stuff to say.
Yes. And then, but the thing that got me interested was DaVinci Resolve Beta 18 is out for people to play around with. I'm not using it yet, but I have been using Resolve a little bit more recently for some client work, and 18 has me excited, so try it out. Go look at it. It's free if you're interested. Next, Adobe Max they've announced their dates for this year, and it's in person.
Woohoo!
So that's some happy times for content creators to be able to get together again in downtown LA. So it's in October. I believe it's the 18th through the 20th or something.
They're still streaming if you want, but
streaming.
But you can go to LA and do it in person.
Yep.
Nice.
And next up, I wanted to give a shout out to Gamecock. And I know that sounds weird coming from a Clemson person, but Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley is the basketball coach.
Yes.
From down in Columbia, South Carolina. I used to watch Dawn Staley play basketball. Had a crush on Dawn Staley, good Lord.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, boy, yeah.
She was the star of March Madness, wasn't she?
She was so daggum good at the University of Virginia. And then she played for the Charlotte Sting. This is back in the 90s. And but yeah, she's now the coach. She's been the coach for about 13 years,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Won the national championship for the second time this year. And her speech was just the best because she took the time to recognize not only the players that start on the team for the basketball team, but she also made a point to shine the light, quote, on the bench players, because that's the thing. A lot of folks, kids anyway, they don't quite get the fact that, hey, even though you're not necessarily a starter, you're still very important on the team. So if you check that link out in our show notes to watch that video, it's very, very heartwarming.
And I will not hold it against her that she had a $500 jacket on.
Hey, she's paid.
Yeah, she's got the money. The first black coach in men's or women's Division I basketball history to win multiple championships with South Carolina.
She won when they won her first national championship. I think it was back in 2007. When they cut down the basketball net, she took her pieces of the net and trimmed it up into little pieces and sent it to all the other black coaches
Good for her.
in the league just to say, hey, you know.
Too. Yeah. $5,000. Sorry, Louis Vuitton.
I was like, a $500 jacket is not actually that expensive.
Sorry, $5,000.
I think she's the highest paid coach now. You know, she's up there amongst the greats with Gino Auriemma and Pat Summitt. Yes, I do watch women's college basketball. So, yes.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are concluding this episode of This Week in Google. Fun show. Thank you. Stacey Higginbotham is at Stacey on IoT. Sign up for her newsletter. It's free, StaceyOnIoT.com. The free, fabulous show she does with Kevin Toffel, the IoT podcast. At GigaStacey on the Twitter. If you want to follow her nice Twitter, it's over there.
Smart.
Nice Pollyanna Twitter.
Nice
Smart
Twitter. If you want to follow the evil Twitter, at Jeff Jarvis at buzzmachine.com.
That face.
Grumpy Twitter.
Grumpy Twitter. The director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. No, he's not grumpy. Not grumpy. No. Aunt Pruitt hosts Hands On Photography. What's coming up this week on Hands On Photography? You're going to do a little street.
We're going to talk street photography again. I have another photographer that's actually local here to the area, and it's going to be a great.
He gets up close and intimate, and I am going to listen because I am so embarrassed to take pictures of people, and he gets right in there.
Right in their faces.
Yeah, and I just want to know what his trick is to do that.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
But can I shout out Mr. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Jarvis was on the Fireside Chat for Club Twit last week, and holy crap, it was so much fun talking to him.
It was a lot of fun. I tried to ask Ant more questions than he asked me.
Oh, no, that's not how that show was going to work with me.
I know it didn't. I tried, though. I did try, didn't I? I tried.
You did.
Sneakily.
That's on the Twit Plus feed if people didn't get there for the AMA. And we've got some more coming up. Scott Wilkinson is May 5th. Stacy's Book Club. Termination Shock, Neil Stevenson. You have a little time to read it. June 16th.
You need time to read that.
It's a month off, but get reading.
I didn't vote. I had shorter options in there.
No, that's good.
You got sympathy from Stacy last week saying, Ant's not like this is a real long one.
This is good, man.
But I'm enjoying it so far. So, yeah we're good. But,
Are you listening or reading?
I'm listening. I'm listening to it.
I think the Sikh Warrior section is a lot of fun. You should enjoy that, yeah?
All I know is right now, vitamin D is not what I thought it was.
Uh-oh.
That's all I'll say.
All of this happens in the club. Now, if you're not a member of Club Twit, I hope you're not feeling left out. It isn't expensive to join.
You don't need to be left out.
You don't need to be.
Not at all.
Nope.
No,
$7 a month.
The way.
Gets you in. You get a lot of benefits, too. All of the shows ad-free. Absolutely. You don't even hear this plug for Club Twit. You also get the Twit Plus feed.
Again, and not in the right voice.
And, the Twit Plus feed and access to our fine Discord where all the chatting happens. It's really a wonderful place. So if it's a big support for us too. We are able to launch shows in there because they're not ad supported. So we are able to launch them in there with the support of our members. Twit.tv/club Twit. Thank you in advance.
But also, sir, we now offer annual plans for Club Twit. So if you don't want to do the $7 a month, You can just sign up for
$84.
For
The reason we did that, a lot of people wanted to buy a gift for a family member or something like that. Instead of buying a $7 gift, they wanted to buy a year. So there you have it. There's corporate memberships as well. twit.tv/club twit. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Jeff. Go get some waffles. Go get some cachoy pepe. Thank you, Aunt Pruitt.
I'm going to get some water.
Get some water and
Too much glyph.
watch down the glyph. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do This Week in Google at 2 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. If you want to watch us live.twit.tv. There's also an audio stream there. If you're watching or listening live, chat live, irc.twit.tv, or, of course, in our Club Twit Discord. After the fact, all of the shows are available at the website, twit.tv. In the case of this show, twit.tv/twig. You'll see at that page some links. There's a YouTube channel. All the Twitch shows are there. There's also links to your favorite podcast players. You can subscribe to those in one of those and get the show automatically the minute it's available on a Wednesday evening. We thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time on Twig. Bye-bye. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Hey, I'm Rod Pyle, editor of Ad Astra Magazine, and each week I'm joined by Tarek Malik, the editor-in-chief over at Space.com, in our new This Week in Space podcast. Every Friday, Tarek and I take a deep dive into the stories that define the new space age. What's NASA up to? When will Americans once again set foot on the moon? And how about those samples from the Perseverance rover? When are those coming home? What the heck has Elon Musk done now? In addition to all the latest and greatest in space exploration, we'll take an occasional look at bits of spaceflight history that you probably never heard of, and all with an eye towards having a good time along the way. Check us out on your favorite podcatcher.